Alrighty, guys. Good evening. Happy fucking Mun, son. Sun Mun, Sun Mun, Mun, son. Alrighty, guys. Sorry about that. Good evening, guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Tonight, guys, we're going to be doing more Overwatch 2. Continuing on with our tweaking journey. We're doing a little bit of tweaky tweak, yeah. With HAGS and MSI mode now. Alternating, where I didn't try that before. And it might actually be working. I played some games offline. It seemed like it worked pretty well. I'm not sure. Then again, I've found things that seem to work, and then they just stop working, which might just be dynamic difficulty adjustment. I don't know. Game's so fucking random sometimes. I don't know what the fuck's going on in it. Mm-hmm. Also, I think I need to wash my eyes out. Because it feels like they're getting itchy, and that means there's either shit in it or around my eyelids or something. We're gonna take a look at the tubes here tonight, guys. Apparently, they're all the kids are all talking about Tarkov and cheating, because apparently this guy, remember years ago, if you guys were here or if you weren't here, I played Tarkov. And I made a post about a guy, a French guy, I don't remember the name of his YouTube channel, unfortunately. And I posted his video to Reddit and got like 1,000 upvotes on it because it was a video educationally showcasing people cheating. This guy did the same thing, and it almost seems like exactly the same format. And apparently now he has a lot of publicity. So basically he's doing exactly the same thing as the French guy did, which we're going to take a look at tonight. Because I thought it was curious. Mainly because it popped up again, A and B, because I'm pretty sure this guy just stole the other guy's content. Yeah. Let's see. EFT educational cheater. There it is. And as you guys know, the video got DMCA'd by Battlestate. They took it down. This is not just any... There's a lot of cheat videos on YouTube about EFT. This was educational, which showed off the behavior that they have. And it was taken down by Battlestate. Like, this isn't something random. This was DMCA'd by Battlestate. And as you guys know, game companies can actually DMCA you for using their games, because it's technically their property. So you can technically be DMCA'd by any video game company. Nintendo does this, by the way, if you misuse their content. Especially their songs, they don't like when you use their IP at all. And yeah, any video game company can do it. Most people don't know that. They think it's like free reign or something. It's not. You can 100% just get DMCA'd by a video game company for streaming their game. And there's nothing you can do about it. Except take it down. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Anyways, I made this post, look, 3 years ago. Made this post 3 years ago, got a lot of upvotes. It's essentially what's going on here now. We're repeating the wheel. I have to wash my eyes. It's definitely, there's something in it. I'll be right back, guys. That usually does it. Unless there's something actually in your eye. Usually when your eye gets kind of like cloudy or full of shit, it's because there's something on your eyelid or next to it. On your eyelids, or oils from your face can drip down into your eye and cause it to happen. But anyways, I made this post 3 years ago. Yeah, when I played EFT, because it was very apparent at the time there's a lot of cheating in EFT. Which apparently has gotten worse, and has gotten worse in other games. I'm pretty sure this guy is not actually the guy. This guy called Tarkov Player, I'm pretty sure this was not the guy. A couple things. I tried to contact this guy. He did not reply. It looks like his account has either been banned or compromised. I don't think this was actually the guy that made the video. Yeah, I don't think this was actually the guy. He says he's the guy here, and it didn't occur to me that this was the guy, but I'm pretty sure this was not the guy. And the reason for that is because his account looks definitely not okay. I'm glad I didn't show you this to you guys. It's 100% compromised account or sold. Either compromise it or sold. Yeah, like it's not... They're posting in porn a bunch of spam in porn sections for basically advertising a call girl. And that happened 8 months ago. Yeah, so the account definitely got compromised. There's a Reddit called EFT Accusations, really. Dead. It is the guy. August 17th, 2019. Try not to show this to you guys. Because his account is obviously compromised and has some shit on it. So maybe it is the guy. Yeah, it's the guy. Anyways, he basically did the same thing. And I can't find his YouTube. I don't know what his YouTube name was different than his Reddit name. Anyways, his video got taken down by Battlestate from a DMCA. And there's plenty of cheat videos on YouTube. The difference between normal cheat videos that are just showing off cheats and this one was it actually shows off the behavior of cheaters and how common it is, which makes their game look really bad. Anyways, he basically went around with a hack and looked at people through walls and was showing the behavior that they like exhibit, basically because you can see them through walls, right? And there's no other way of doing this without using a wall hack. And the weird thing about it was he noticed that people, there was a handshake that they would use to showcase that they were cheaters, which is they'd wiggle through the wall. They'd wiggle back and forth, and they'd wiggle at each other as a handshake to show that the one person was cheating and the other person is cheating too, and therefore they shouldn't go after each other because obviously you know that's not fun, right? So cheaters don't enjoy going after other cheaters because that's not fun. It's fun dicking on people, not playing a level battlefield, right? A level game. And they would do things like actively avoid each other or kind of stagnate with each other, stare at each other through walls. There's all sorts of weird shit that they do, and this video showed it all. And lo and behold, 3 years later, we have this guy now that basically did the same thing. The only difference being is he actually got recognition from big streamers for doing it. So we're going to take a look at this. I have not watched the whole video because I'm curious on what his content actually is, and it's something I've actually talked about doing for years, but you're not allowed to stream wall hacks or cheats on Twitch. It's something I definitely want to do, and it make it difficult to live stream and do this because people know who you are immediately, and they'd be able to figure out if you're in their game. It's different when you're offline, because when you're not on Twitch, obviously you're not live, right? I thought about this for years. It'd be fantastic, because the kind of behavior you see when you see someone through walls is completely different than what someone normally sees, because you can't see through walls. No matter how good you get at the game, you can't see through walls, and you look just different, because normal people do not look at walls. You don't hold corners by looking at walls. That's not the way stuff works, because, you know, you have to be able to see when they're coming around the corner, right? You don't hold corners by looking at walls. And it's one of the things I've talked about over the years, and it's a pretty big dead giveaway that someone's cheating is when they're staring at walls instead of looking at corners. Putting aside that they might be glancing around at teammates or something, if they're staring at walls, they're probably looking at something through the wall, and oftentimes you can see that. I saw a bigger streamer earlier today that was doing just that. And yeah, I'm pretty convinced that he cheats, just not all the time. He just cheats off and on, and in Overwatch, that is. And just enough to get a little bit of, like, kind of make his chat hyped up about it, and then he stops. So he's never going to get banned, assuming that his cheat isn't actually detected, which is highly unlikely it will. So, yeah. Pretty crazy shit. But yeah, he was doing that earlier today. He was just staring at people through walls. He'd pre-aim before people come around corners, stuff like that. It was pretty easy to tell he could see that people were through walls. He always has a wall hack on. He doesn't always have an aimbot on. Occasionally he'll toggle aimbots, though. In general, he tends to be a relatively good player regardless. So it's not really noticeable, but yeah, he definitely goes on cheat streaks. Anyways, let's take a look at this video. I'm curious what this is.
Some people claim that there's a cheater in every single lobby, and others declare they've never been killed by a cheater. The truth is most likely somewhere in the middle. But how can you know?
Probably
if the game developer knew, they'd ban them. And if a
random
game
arbitrary
doesn't have
argument
a replay system, which Escape from Tarkov does not have, how does a player know how bad it is? So I came up with a plan to answer this question once and for all. The plan. Number one, we will find a cheater. This should not be difficult. This is Escape from Tarkov we're talking about here. Number two, we will spectate said cheater, and we will observe their gameplay using their ESP. Number three,
we will find the cheater overlord and we will destroy them.
Whoa, easy, Tiger. Got a little overzealous there. Number three, we will figure out how many cheaters there are in every Tarkov raid using the cheater's ESP knowledge. Let's go do it. Before we
something
get into
I've talked
footage,
about basically for a decade, by the way, on my stream.
And I'm not being hyperbolic when I
but
say
he did it.
that.
Talking about it's different than
if
doing
you watch this video,
same thing
it
with
will
the other
change
guy.
the way you look at first-person shooters,
Not really.
especially games like Escape from Tarkov.
He probably
forever.
watched the French
If you
guy's
enjoy
video
playing
and then made his
Escape
own
from
video
Tarkov,
based on it. Is
you're
my
having a
guess,
great
but we're going to
time.
see how close
Keep
they are
playing
together.
the game, and it may not
Sounds
be a bad
his
idea
initial
just to
argument
not
is
watch
almost
this video.
identical to
But
what
if
the
you're
French guy did
frustrated
and
with the
talked
cheating
about.
situation and you want to know how bad it is, this is the video for you. The game developers are most likely going to copyright strike and try to take down this video. If that occurs,
He 100% watched this guy's video, and he's literally just repeating what happened to this guy right here. He 150% found this guy's story, heard about it, and then copied it for publicity. Not necessarily, by the way, I'm not completely against any publicity being brought to this issue because it needs to be talked about more. But he 100%, I'm pretty sure he's just copy-pasting basically this guy's, making his own footage and doing exactly what this guy did. And the reason he suggested this, which is something no one else talks about, by the way, because this is something very particular. This is something very, very particular to this guy's channel. I have not heard about this anywhere else that someone besides me talking about it, that this guy's video got DMCA'd. Nowhere else. So, yeah, this is not something you'd even expect to happen, by the way. Despite the fact that game developers can DMCA anything, you would not suggest that people, like, there's all sorts of cheat footage for Tarkov on YouTube. Like, we go here and go, EFT cheats. I don't know why it goes into. Stuff like that. Now we're running into the spam, which is the reposts. Yeah, so maybe they are DMCAing all cheat content on YouTube related to their game. That could be the strategy right now. But there's actually some videos that are up that are kind of like anti-cheat approach, I would say, where they're actually discussing the topic matter.
I have a video ready to go.
So maybe it's more common now.
Game footage, and I will put it up immediately. And if this video is still up on YouTube, you can try to make a copy of it and download it. I'm not going to go into details there. I'm sure you know how to use Google. Now back to the video. Step 1, we need to find a cheater. This was not hard. Just look at these metrics. There are over 1,000 people online right now in this Discord. And you don't even need to be in the Discord
Type
to get
Overwatch
the
cheats into
they
Google.
Have sales? And check out this. In early February, they had 4,000 concurrent users connecting to the servers at one time. And this is just one cheat developer of many. And while there are plenty of cheaters in these Discords, I need to find someone that I actually trust. Do you remember Evoker? He was the cheater I interviewed and shadowed in my video, Messy Truth About Hacking in Video Games. He has some pretty fancy cheats that would be very useful to collect the information I needed. And even though I vowed to keep him anonymous, he knew that the cheat devs could figure out if he was the one who leaked the footage. Evoker was more worried about getting caught by the cheat developer than the game developer.
That's probably because he's a streamer, by the way. The only reason that would matter is if he has something to lose, which probably means he's a public figure. Yeah. I don't know if he's making this summation right now, but if he's more worried about the cheat developer outing him, if he's more worried about the cheat developer outing him, it's because the cheat developer actually knows who he is. Yeah. As opposed to BSG, which just knows his usernames. So that guy that he's talking about is more than likely a streamer or a tuber of some kind. And the cheat developer actually knows who they are.
Let's sink in. The cheat developers are more careful and restrictive with their software than the game developer.
He has clout. He has something to lose.
I took matters into my own hands and installed some cheats. And 5 minutes later, I was a real hacker. Okay, that was easy. But before we go on this cheater catching rampage,
yeah, there could be something like a Trojan where he's worried about his
computer
computer getting wiped out.
Fresh account. I'm not playing on my main account. Number 2, no killing.
Not really, actually, because there's hardware bans. It doesn't matter if you're not using
PMCs, even if I think they're cheating.
Fresh account.
Number 3, no transferring of loot, no boosting, and no playing with anyone else. And number 4, after a few days of testing, reset the account. So this is the start of a normal match in Escape from Tarkov. It's a night raid, so it's harder to spot players, unless you flip on ESP. You can see the player's level, kill to death ratio.
This guy's video is much better than the French guy's video, by the way.
How much ammo they have, their hitbox or skeleton, everything with this cheat. And this isn't even a really good one. In addition to that, you have radar down in the bottom right-hand corner. It shows everything, including the AI bots. This is going to be really nice when we're seeing if another player is tracking us through walls, because you can see what direction they're looking with the little arrows. I witnessed a player with a high KD drop someone on the way in. I plan to creep up and just see what he does. And while I creep up, this other player surprises me. Yes, even with ESP and radar, you can still get surprised. I follow my rule and let the PMC kill me. I can't tell you how many raids this happened in. Was the guy cheating? I have no evidence whatsoever. As far as I can tell, this was just a normal raid. In this next raid, I decided to investigate this big team fight that was going down. A few players had already died. That's what that white default inventory text is. I gave them several opportunities to get spooked.
Like I mentioned, just like kind of circling back to that, even if the cheat, for instance, could be a remote control program, you could have remote control or basically a Trojan. You can definitely use it on a basically a machine where you don't need to worry about it getting compromised, and if it gets compromised, you just format the shit away. It doesn't matter. So I don't really think that's a big deal. It 100% has to be he knows who the guy's identity is, and it could actually ruin his life. That's where you'd actually care about that.
I even jumped up in this tree to really test them, and nothing. A player scav rolled up, and I decided to have a little fun. And yeah, I'm using a voice changer. On the first day of testing, I actually thought I was going to come back to Tarkov, and I didn't want to get recognized in game. More on that later.
Don't shoot, okay? We cool? Come over to the tree. Come over to the tree.
Yeah, I see. I see him.
Yeah, there's two.
Okay.
It's painfully clear that these two Chads are legit. How refreshing.
Whoa, don't shoot!
We have a fun little interaction, and we go our separate ways.
I saw you,
One thing I've noticed, guys, and I've talked a little bit about this, is people, when they play a hardcore game and they can joke around like they don't give a shit, it's usually because they're cheating. I know this is kind of just like a nonchalant kind of a bullshit argument to make here, guys, and I'm going to make this. It seems like when anyone can have a lot of fun, when they're trying to be really fucking serious, that means they aren't taking whatever they're doing serious, and that usually means they aren't going to do good. If they're doing good and having a lot of fun, usually that means there's something wrong. Yeah. I know that's kind of bullshit. You're like, no, you can have fun. I can have fun and be serious too. However, at the end of the day, I'm in serious mode because you have to be, like, you have to take things seriously, right? And it makes it very difficult to just be entertaining and silly and kind of tee-hee-hee. Look at me, guys, tee-hee-hee. You know, one of those things. But every streamer that I've seen that kind of is nonchalant and just doesn't give a shit about what's going on in the game, but actually does extremely well, is usually full of shit. Like, if they're just joking around, joshing around with you. There's a lot of entertaining streamers, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of entertaining streamers, but most of the time, they're not very good at games at all. And it's like a compromise where you can't let the game basically shit on you too much, otherwise you don't enjoy it, right? You don't enjoy the game anymore because, like, you took it too seriously and now you don't enjoy it anymore. But there's definitely a compromise where either that or the game has to be really easy. And the game is really easy when you're cheating, right? If it's really easy for you, you can just fuck around and it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, because you don't get caught with your pants down anymore. But almost every case where people just don't give a shit and or just act silly in games and just toddle around, just kind of do whatever, just go around the match is usually because, like, they're either bad or they're cheating. Like, they don't care about the match or they're cheating. Yeah. I know this is something I've recognized more and more, is people that play a really serious game in a really serious moment, and they're just very nonchalant and just don't give a shit. It either means they're going to be bad at the game or they're more than likely cheating. And I'd say it's like 99.9% of people I've seen that are just kind of lollygagging around and don't give a shit, but are mowing people down, are cheating. Unless obviously they're playing some sort of role where it's super fucking easy to do so because they have a huge advantage. Basically, cheating's a huge advantage, right? The game has a huge advantage for whatever reason. They can just fuck around and they don't care.
looting. You guys were standing still. I could have.
But when it's actually balanced and they have to try, they aren't gonna do that unless they're cheating because it's easy.
Okay, so you guys don't want to loot crack house, right? You guys can just pass through. How about that?
Okay, I'm gonna go through the big wall. Hey, don't flank me. Just leave me alone.
A player scav? Why are you teaming up with a player scav?
Listen, man, I'm not telling you what to do with your life.
I thought maybe things aren't that bad. However, I didn't really have a solid plan to determine if someone was cheating or not. How can you know? I load into a night raid and I look around the map and I decide to check out this low-level, high KD player. I roll up, glance down at the radar, and he locks onto my position. He lies down. Is this my first cheater? Did I find one? No, he's literally just AFK. Raid after raid, nothing. It honestly was pretty boring. But then I discovered a secret weapon, the wiggle.
You didn't 100% watch this other guy's video, guys. This, as I mentioned before, I have no problems with bringing more light to the same issue and basically doing the same thing this other guy did. He's 100% has watched this other guy's videos and knows what this guy went through and what happened to him, which is why he's basically redoing the same thing.
And the wiggle was all I needed. I can't believe it. 2 legit players showed up, and I watched the cheater destroy them. I went to the roof to see what he would do, and he was stuck in a healing animation.
I'm like spazzing out right now.
Oh, like, can you use your gun?
Even cheaters can get Tarkoved.
No.
Another player rolled up, and I died to him. And if you question if that wiggle was completely random, he sent me a message in game after the fact. Cheaters change their names all the time. The next day, he had already changed his. What's so brilliant about the wiggle is that it shows the other hacker that I cheat. If they respond to it by wiggling back, it confirms that they have ESP. And that's what I wanted. I wanted them to show their hand. In the hacking community, a wiggle is a form of a truce, a peace offering. Armed with this new information, I went back into Raid to track down another cheater. The ESP tells you who is on a team, and here we have Team 1 and Team 2. And I figured I could find out if the winner was legit or not. Team 1 gets third party, but handles the threat quickly. Killed them. The Team 2 guys, look how much they backed off. They're not even fighting over their friends' bodies anymore. They're just back here sitting in the gas station. What are they doing?
It's so bizarre. You see that happen. You've seen it happen a few times, right?
That's why for the channel, Kel you're hearing. She plays Tarkov as well. We speculated it was possible that both teams might have someone who's not legit. When the ESP turns red, it means there is a direct line of sight to the target. I tested Team 1 several times, and this guy's not watching his ESP if he is hacking. I was pretty confident they're not cheating. I needed to stay close to keep the pressure on. They can't jump this wall right here and kill me if they...
I was going to say, you get so
Suspect me,
close
but-
up in this stuff.
Team 2 loses another player in the fight, and the last man surviving heads to the extract, which was a wise move. The dust settles, and I try the wiggle. Oh, he's wiggling, look. See that?
Yep. Does that mean the whole
He took
team?
out his right rebel.
Does that mean the whole team is cheating if he's doing that?
Let's see what happens when I come over. This guy takes a few pop shots at me, and I let the cheaters take care of him. That scav up there lit me up.
Do your voice changer.
Oh, that's scam?
Yeah, dude. Up on the hill. He lit. Unless one of you shot at me, I don't think you did.
No, we were shooting at that scab up there, if that's him.
Wait, he shot me through the barbed wire.
Just a better player, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be careful. You need anything?
Nah, man, I'm good. That was very difficult to figure out that those guys were hacking.
Yeah, yeah,
He
Cheating
took out his
culture.
red rebel the second I took out my
yep, yep. That whole team.
100% cheating.
That whole team.
That whole team. Sometimes I would just antagonize a cheater with the wiggle to get them to rage hack on me, and it works.
He is 100% replaying exactly what the other guy did. He is 100% basically, it's like almost like bullet points you're looking at in this video of the other guy's video. I wish I had the video to show you guys, to show you how close it is, but besides like the monologue parts where it kind of cuts out, his gameplay almost follows the other guy's formula completely. And once again, I'm not against stuff like this getting more limelight because it deserves it. But this is not an original to him. This is 100% someone else's video that he's basically just it's almost like TikTok where someone just puts their face on someone else's video. That's what it feels like when I'm watching. I mean, obviously it's his content, but at the same time, this definitely feels like this is the Tarkov player's, this guy's content, who is now banned, DMCA'd. Yeah. Game of War Simulator, from my experience, the whole team is not... What the fuck does that mean? He just random made
getting so annoyed.
an arbitrary claim. He did the Tarkov player did the same thing. This guy did.
He's trying to avoid me.
And you get people that
Truly
literally would just
level
try and
11, I
fucking
can
like
keep
shoot
up
him
with
through
you,
walls
buddy.
and stuff.
Hello there, sir. Hello there, sir. Whoa.
He just deleted that level 52. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Hey there, bro. Wow.
I found it quite common that cheaters ran in groups. their KDs are extremely high in the top 1%. And after this guy gets this insane nade kill, I sneak up on their position. It should be noted that I am not overweight, and I make sure to silent crouch walk, not hitting bushes, etc. It makes no sense that he would lock onto my position here. He sidesteps left and right, and I track him to show them that I'm watching.
But he doesn't need a
knows I
wiggle.
have
It's clear this
ESP,
guy's
he
out,
doesn't
knows
like it.
he's here. But I guess some people really fucking need this. When people cheat in video games, guys, even if it's really fucking obvious to me, I will still, even to this day, which is one of the reasons we don't cover replays, like for instance in Overwatch, most of the time I will not go through the replay, and the reason for that is because I'm going to file a report, and then I'm going to move on with my life, because it takes an inordinate amount of time to go through replays, and it basically comes down to not being that much fun. You'll get people in chat that'll still disagree with you, and I'll actually make chat more heated. People in chat will get more heated at the fact that basically we're still disagreeing, and at the same time, like it's just an unfulfilling process, which is why I don't go through replays. I used to back in like the H1Z1 days, and early on, I used to do that shit. I don't do that anymore because it's a waste of time. At the end of the day, because it's subjective, you'll still get, nah, that guy's just looking over there because he thought he heard something or something. Like, oh, you make sound from across the world. And then, by the way, sound has render distance in basically every game. Like, there's a maximum distance, and then even then there's going to be clipping simply because only there's a certain number of sound channels, so only a certain number of sounds can play at once.
What are you going to do? Show me your hand. His buddy's moving in to help him out.
Well, I
They
mean, how would you
assume
know
I'm
not
gonna
all of
just,
them are
like,
cheating
aim
if
on
you
them.
ran into a clear cheater? Like, it seems like you have
He must have the Grenadier
intimate
task or
knowledge
something,
with
'cause he's
all the
looking
cheater
for
groups
nades
in the
to throw
world.
me. And before I make any noise, they just start talking.
Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello. I have a starting pistol out. I don't have any ammo. You got, whoa.
I set my sights on this very high KD player. He had just dropped somebody. I approach carefully.
This is something
He
I've wanted to do
notices
for a
I'm
long
getting
time, but I
close,
don't
and
make
look how
YouTube
precise
content.
his lock is on the radar.
This is great.
Sometimes I'd run into a cheater on the way to another cheater. He snaps to me as I get close. He closes the door. And the wiggle. It surprises me every time. And once I developed
Doesn't.
the strategy and started investigating more people in every
Once
single
again,
raid.
this is a repeat of another guy's video from 3 years ago. Maybe even longer than that, 3.5 years ago. It's repeating the same wheel. It's not that they're all of a sudden there's cheaters and there weren't cheaters before. It's rather because this guy 3 years ago was like early 25s and now he's actually close to his 30s. And for some reason, when you're a gamer, I don't really understand this kind of adolescent mindset the gamers still have where they seem to think that people won't cheat at a video game. It's a video game. People are assholes online, and it's pretty fucking easy to find cheats, so why wouldn't people think they'd cheat at a video game? Especially when people troll a lot of people, and they love pissing them off, and nothing pisses them off more than losing all their fucking gear, right? You spoke with all the groups on voice
Cheaters
comms.
were everywhere.
I see.
The KD at 2 is good, but it's not that good. This has got to be.
Well, I mean,
so
people
annoying
sometimes
from
just
their
do the wiggle as a
perspective.
dance, but these guys are doing it through a wall without being able to see each other.
They don't want to react, but they have to. I
Yeah,
keep
because they don't
pestering
want. They
with the
basically don't
wiggle.
want to die to it. They don't want to die to
know
a cheater.
I cheat. They know I have ESP now. If you're not familiar with how Escape from Tarkov works, you don't make sound when you silent crouch walk underweight like this. This is the most lawyer reaction a cheater can have. It's like he's saying, I know, but I'm not going to let it be known that I know. There's literally no reason for him to be standing over here.
Once again, there are people that will still say this guy's looting something or something stupid. There are still people at the end of the day, and it's actually important as it's very evident to me, even prior to this moment. And this guy is going through all the steps to make sure that there's almost no shadow of an unreasonable doubt. There's no doubt in your mind that he's cheating, even though at the end of the day, you can't see his screen and see that he can see you, right? But you will still get someone that'll be like, nah, man, he's looting a cabinet in front of you or some stupid shit like that. Yeah, no. I mean, come on. How, like, The amount of like mental loops some people will jump through to justify someone then think they aren't cheating because they can't possibly cheat is insane. It's like we're in like the denial phase of like some sort of addiction right now. It's fucking crazy.
Looking at my exact angle. I hadn't made any noise. This weird standoff continued for a while.
All right, man. Well, good luck.
I try to leave and he sort of holds me up. I gotta give the guy credit though. He's being a lot more subtle than most people in this video.
That's subtle.
I was expecting to die right here, but maybe he's like me and he just has ESP and no aimbot. I had no idea what this guy was gonna do next.
Whoa, bro. Hey, man. I'm backing off, bro. I have a knife. What's up?
You can give him a gun or something. TTV? Is this actually a real guy?
Going with the fake TTV.
Oh, it's a fake TTV. That also is something I've noticed. What game do we have fake TTVs in? Dead by Daylight. It wasn't just Dead by Daylight, but we had an extensive number of fake TTVs. And one of two things. Either they had a channel and they would never stream on it, or they have, which is something I brought up before, and before I'm going to preface this guy, they have a channel and they have nothing on it, or it's a fake TTV name. And the reason they do that is because it infers that you're a legitimate player. It infers that you are streaming, therefore you can't cheat, right? So there's no way it's like armor. There's no way this guy could possibly cheat. And at the same time, some people do not want to kill TTVs because then it might infer that they'll get banned, right? You'll be more likely to get banned. However, that's probably completely untrue at this point. But in Dead by Daylight, for instance, you can't really just instantly kill a TTV. In Dead by Daylight, it's a little bit different because you also want to, like, TTVs are generally people that are hated. So people will be tunneled more often if they're a TTV, for instance. There's a couple things that TTV does, but it's oftentimes used as a way to infer that you're a legitimate player. Yeah, even if you don't stream or stream like once a month. Yeah, it's then almost never you'll see in Dead by Daylight. Almost never those TTVs that are sketch as fuck will be streaming. Yeah, it's just I think there's only a handful. I generally dodge TTVs, but I'll check to see if they're live. If they aren't live, I'll play against them. But yeah, they almost never stream. And they'll use it as an excuse at the end that they aren't cheating because they stream. But they aren't streaming while you're playing and it was cheating, right? Because they aren't streaming their cheats. That being said, there's Dead by Daylight players that stream and cheat at the same time, just like in Overwatch and just like in Tarkov. There are people that stream and cheat because, as it turns out, guys, there is a monetary reward. There is monetary money when you do good at video games and you stream on Twitch. Imagine that. Imagine being good at video games actually making you money, and therefore, if you cheat, you're just going to make more money. Weird, right? I wonder if he's going to mention that.
V name.
All right, cool.
But he
Listen,
checked
dude,
already.
I'm not trying to, like, fuck with you. I just was saying hi. Just doing the wiggle, you know? If you're saying anything, I can't hear you. I just letting you know. Is your buddy cool? Whoa. We're cool. You want me to leave or hang out?
Leave, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
I'd been pestering this guy for about 3 minutes, slowly creeping up,
Pretty
and
funny.
I finally pushed him to his limit. And don't forget about Radar. Just look at how locked on he is.
Like I said, some people will still think
Yeah, okay.
this
but
guy's
I'd already
holding
gotten
an
these
angle.
guys to wiggle.
Some people at the end of all this will still think some of these guys are legit. This is the mind-blowing part, guys. And the one thing I learned when I first started talking about cheating, and we used to go over replay footage, even regardless of how obvious it is, there will always be one guy. There will always be that one fucking guy who gets really angry, too, and think that someone is legit.
But I wasn't recording. You gotta give me a break, though, man. I've had a bad cold. I cannot believe I wasn't recording.
Oh, no.
I'm usually good about it, but I went to go get a drink while I was loading in, and I usually hit the recording.
Messed up your flow.
I'll mess up your
Hey
flow.
guys, what's up?
Wait, what?
Fighting or we friendly?
Oh, dude, I'm friendly. I'm friendly. You gotta respect the wiggle, dude. Hell yeah, man.
What you got going on, man? Why are you just hanging out with a knife?
And I wonder how they know I have my knife out.
I don't know if we talked a little bit. We saw the video from, who was it yesterday? He posted a video of Overwatch where you can literally see everyone's with the ESP in the game. You can actually see everyone's abilities and if they're up or not. It basically shows you a cooldown bar. So I don't doubt, for instance, that you can actually see what gun, if you have a good cheat, you can actually see what gun people have. So. or you can actually just see their model through the wall instead of a wire mesh, which is what he has right here. You can actually see their model, which I've seen before, which is like a red outline. I'm sure you guys have seen it of their actual model, and be easy to tell when someone has a pistol out or knife.
How are they missing this much?
Because they're not good at the game. That's why they have the download cheats.
Hey, you guys have any deals? That was not appreciated.
Also here, Regis.
Yeah, just come around to the garage.
I feel like you're gonna kill me.
You're not in a position to negotiate, my man. Sounds like you're not doing so
Alright, I
good.
guess I'll come.
And this doesn't break the rule, but this is the closest thing I did to killing a player. Sounds like you don't have much time, brother.
No, I don't.
You better hurry.
Yeah, though, so I bet you feel really good.
No, come over here and I'll give you heals, but you're the one that's not coming over here. I'm not even the one that shot at you.
Once again, I will stand by my earlier assertion, guys. If you are playing a super hardcore game, guys, and there's someone just absolutely fucking around but destroying everyone, they're 100% cheating. Unless they have some sort of huge advantage that's inherently put on them, they're in God mode because the game gave it to them, they're cheating. I am just going to say that straight out. When you're in a highly stressful situation and you don't need to give a shit, that either means you're going to do horribly or you are going to, for some reason, do really good, which means you're cheating. I'm going to stick to this. This is something I've pretty much learned from my re-encounter with Overwatch. Is whenever you see players like this, it's not just like I first noticed it, but I'm actually putting like things more and more together. And it's been other games too. When you get like the fucking guys that just don't give a shit, but they perform really well, and putting aside the fact that sometimes they can just, maybe joke around a little bit, but you clearly know they aren't joking, right? That they're just they're pretending to joke. You can tell when people are kind of in their go mode, right? Like everyone kind of has a go mode where they put their serious face on. And if they don't, there's a reason that they aren't putting their serious face on, or they don't need to. Which, if they're just making content, usually means they're just going to do bad, right? There's plenty of entertainers on Twitch, and they usually do pretty horrible in highly stressful situations when they're just trying to be funny and lollygag and shit.
Undercover.
One Punch Man,
here,
sure.
brother.
Yeah, I mean, One Punch Man's technically God, so, yeah. Oh, you didn't answer my question the other day about what kind of anime you're looking for, like one in particular. I'd still say Demon Slayer is probably what you're looking for if it's like One Punch Man. I'm gonna wash my coffee cup out, guys. I'm gonna take a piss here real quick, and then we're gonna keep watching this. I'm gonna give her my soda though. Be right back. Characters and animation, yeah. So you're probably looking for something more generic. Shonens are pretty easy to process. One Punch Man is very over the top animation, which isn't something you're going to find in most anime. You can find well animated anime, but usually there's trade offs in what you're going to get. Demon Slayer, for instance, is it's another shonen, very easy to understand. A lot of power, a lot of battles, very flashy, which is why I suggested it. It's kind of very much along the same vein. I think you can just go to like the NIDB. Let's see. And we type in One Punch Man. Find anime that's very similar. Don't watch there's sequels. Don't watch them, they're pretty terrible. And we do similar anime. Mob Psycho, kind of. My Hero Academia is also shonen, but I don't think it's really that good. And most of these I wouldn't agree with. I guess some of these are here because they're comedies. One Punch Man is another shonen. I think they're still making stuff too. It's not very good, which is why people stop talking about it, because it's not very good. Yeah, like they're still making stuff. I think I stopped at season 3. They're still making episodes no one's talking about because it's not very good anymore. It wasn't very good to begin with. Very generic. Yeah, I stopped here, I think, or here. One of the two. Generic stuff. One Punch Man, very, very generic. Anyways, let's get back to watching our cheater.
Oh my god, his
drama.
He's not gonna make it. Come on in, come on in, come on in. He's gonna die before.
Mm-hmm. What's his health at?
4, 3. Get over here, get over here. Get the cover, get the cover. Alright, I'm gonna drop it on the ground for you. See that? I was watching his health tick down and I was like, he's not gonna make it. This is gonna be so funny.
I mean, he did make it,
See how
and
hard
he
these guys trust.
Yeah.
You know?
he killed him. So.
Listen, I wasn't gonna kill this Scav, and he could have just popped me right there. Most hackers won't wiggle back, but it doesn't matter. The wiggle still works. They know I have ESP.
No, they just happen to be looking this direction. God, you're bad. These guys aren't cheating. Wow, don't you understand the code of arms that all players go through? We're all geeks in this together. We play games together. This is camaraderie. We're like family, man. We're like family online. Yeah, no, they fucking cheat. It's some guy that fucking had a bad day at Best Buy, got yelled at his boss and customers, came home, cracked a beer, and wants to shit on kids because it makes him feel good. That is the world we live in. And if you are going into your 30s and you still don't understand this because you don't understand the people around you, and these people online are people that are around you, then that's kind of... How can you look at life, see the kind of people that are on Reddit, on 4chan, on Twitter, and then assume when you step into a video game, all of a sudden it is this chivalrous contest between individuals that are all trying to, fight it out on equal terms. No, the fun thing to do is shit on everyone, right? Yeah, that gets people the most dopamine, serotonin, is shitting on people. And while you can have fun and lose, it's much more difficult, or even have a fair fight, than if you just shit on kids. Most people eventually realize that it takes all the fun out of it, right? You can say that, but not everyone's on the same page on that. It takes all the fun out of it. I was, because you don't try anymore, so there's no autonomy. There's you don't get a sense of accomplishment when you kill people, and if you do, you're probably kind of crazy, because that means you actually think that cheating is your skill. Yeah. If you get off in helping others, I mean, sure. I mean, there are different strokes for different folks, but yeah, it's I don't know why anyone online would, when they get, they're past the teenage years, even their 20s now, you would assume people don't cheat, or you assume it's rare. I'm gonna do the taboo thing here, guys. It might get me banned. I'm gonna type in Overwatch cheats into Google, and there are literally 4 websites here you can get cheats from. 5, 6. I don't know about the GitHub, and including one where you can get cheats and people will help you make cheats. And I don't think I'm really showing people how to cheat. If you are so bad, I didn't even spell Overwatch right. If you're so bad that you can't type Overwatch cheats into Google and educate yourself before you decide to formulate your own response on this, No one should ever engage. It's that easy. It's that fucking easy. It never used to be. Back in my day, back when I first started playing Overwatch 1, the only place you could really kind of find cheats was if you went to a Chinese marketplace, which is Taobao, and but Taobao isn't just for cheats, by the way. Taobao is like eBay. So it's basically people selling cheats on eBay. Taobao, and you need basically a Chinese interpreter to navigate that place. It is a shithole. Or you have to know a smoky back room and know someone. Now you don't. You can find them on open forums. You can find public hacks that work that are free. It's not, you can buy paid hacks. It's not what it used to be. And yeah, people need to be called out on this. They do. We talked about the one game company. I love bringing this up. The Chicken Drumstick. Yeah, these guys, they got caught in real life. This is one of the world's largest video game cheat companies, were 3 guys making a cheat for PUBG Mobile. They had 600,000 active subscribers per month. They made $70 million, 3 people, basically breaking the game, which is very easy to do. $70 million. They had Lamborghinis, they had Bitcoin. They had all sorts of shit when they didn't catch their cheat, by the way. I keep bringing them up. They didn't catch their cheat. They found them in real life and sentenced them to jail. They didn't find their cheats. They didn't catch the players. They sentenced the developers to jail after finding them in real life. Yeah, that is a very roundabout way to catch cheaters. That means they can't catch cheaters, and they basically have to cheat, I guess you could say, to catch the cheaters. And that's not where you want to be. Yeah, let's 600,000. It's like, that sounds insane, right? When he shut Cheat Ninja down, Catfish said they had around 600,000 monthly active subscribers. That does not peak. Monthly active subscribers. What the fuck? What the fuck? I love bringing this article up. This is so good. What the fuck? Anyways, back to Tarkov cheating. Tarkov cheats go.
Don't forget to check the radar in the bottom right during this interaction. Even though I have my knife out, he's worried about me. He's tracking me this whole way around.
Nuh-uh.
When you're playing against normal players, they don't ever look at you
a loot
like
cache
this on
there.
the radar.
There's a loot cache there, man. Nuh-uh.
Up until this point, you could argue some of this could just be chance. Maybe he thought he saw something at my location and he's watching it like a hawk.
What the fuck is wrong with people?
But it's starting to become very obvious. And I want to seal the deal in this interaction. Are you back, Travis? This guy's 100% cheating. He won't wiggle at me, but he's doing everything. Just basically tracked me in a big circle. Like, he's turning back looking directly at me. Look at this. That's my friend Travis. He was watching me record some of these raids live. He's been in several of my shorts. I'm going to get him to rage on me. Just pop me in the head like he's going to pop me in the head the second I show anything. You ready? Called it! Let's watch this back in slow motion. He shot me through the bush without an actual sight line. The server had a bit of lag and placed the death behind solid.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. He just happened to... There's a guy behind you. Didn't you see the other guy behind you? This guy's a cheating. There's a guy behind you. Nuh-uh.
Cover. In this raid, I was tracking down a rager, and en route to his position, he was dead. It turns out he got killed by a different hacker. A legit player rolls through, and the cheater is holding an angle. Geez, I wonder who's going to win this fight. He gets the kill, of course. Let's see if he'll respond to the wiggle. Looks my way. And wiggle confirmation. I got my knife though. Peace, peace. I was just saying peace. Nice kill. I don't know why I told him nice kill.
Yeah.
You got that guy with like that guy earlier. What was his KD? Oh shit! I'm always trying to get them to verbally confirm that they're cheating.
Huh?
What was that other guy's? That guy was raging. The other guy, right?
It was like 15, bro. That shit was
Dude.
way too high.
Yeah.
Mine's high too, but I gotta lower it.
Yeah.
Stat-based banning, because normal players. By the way, guys, we've talked about this before. When people are cheating in Overwatch, they have to toggle. They can't constantly cheat, and the reason for that is they'll get banned. There is stat-based banning because it makes a lot of sense that you shouldn't have astronomically high KD, right? And if they do, it should be very easy for an admin to observe a player in a game. And if there isn't a way to do this yet, the fucking company making the game is basically just dog shit. They're bad. They're bad. You should be able to observe players in your game. And it should be very easy immediately to tell, just like this, when someone is cheating. And especially when they don't know that someone is observing them. Yeah. And but in Overwatch, it's
It's all good either way. So is it cherry on top when you get the verbal confirmation of cheating? He admitted.
Some people need this. I mentioned this before, guys. Some people fucking need the fact that this guy is literally saying basically that he cheats. If it wasn't painfully obvious already that this guy cheats, some people do need this. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't need this at this point, but some people really do think that everyone exists of sparkles and unicorns, and online is this Valorant battle between the honorable Hokages of the Naruto, the Shippuden villages in a tournament. It's not. It's not. And I think they even cheated in that, if I remember right. It's not. Just like in real life, they'll cheat with their fucking ass on the line. Of course, people are willing to cheat in a video game when they're just trying to blow off steam.
Into knowing the KD of the guy he killed. There's a single.
But anyways, tell you about Overwatch. People toggle on and off all the time, and they have to because otherwise they'll get stat banned. People are very aware of their KD. And what you'll see is oftentimes people will toggle. We've covered the multiple different ways that people toggle. People will toggle usually on a push to secure a push, and then they'll toggle off and kind of have a lull, and then do it again for the push at when they're approaching overtime. Then a lull, then push again. They will focus target, or target a single player, which means their cheat will only work on an individual, which is very scummy, by the way, because I'm pretty sure Blizzard does not ban for this because they don't know it exists yet, but they will have their cheat only work on a certain player. So if you have a player in a match that is doing really well, you kill them. And that's the same thing as winning. So if you have a match, let's say, where MMR has put together a bunch of players and some of them are GMs, if you just kill the GMs, it's like playing a diamond game. It's a win. It's the same thing. It's being smart. Some people will just toggle on because they want to look good at a very specific moment. Sometimes you'll anger them and then they'll toggle on. They'll usually toggle on 1 to 2 minutes. When they get locked in spawn, we've seen that's usually a really good spot where they'll toggle on and then you'll get locked in spawn because obviously you're cheating. Yeah, it's any sort of adolescent or kind of me too or if-then statement behavior where you can see one thing and then another thing happens. It's like ego, just purely ego taking a separation here where I'm too hurt and now I need to feel better by hurting the other people. It's the same thing. Or doing it in such a way where it makes a lot of impact in the match because over the course of a match, a lot of things happen. Some people will bank accuracy too, meaning usually they won't shoot a fucking wall, but they will just miss a shitload of shots and then they'll toggle on because they basically banked the accuracy. So if you can imagine your accuracy tanking, right? This is banking accuracy. And then you toggle on, it goes up. And then you start just shooting a bunch of random shit. It goes down again and it goes up. So you bank the accuracy for a moment when you actually need it. Yeah, strategies for cheating. This is where we're at now.
Bot follower scav still alive. That means a rare boss spawned on the map and there's only one guard left. You ever wonder why it's so hard to get boss kills sometimes?
Yep.
The cheaters will get to them first, and they don't want you near it. Oh, this guy's raging. Jesus Christ, that guy was raging.
Because some of these guys actually,
really
there's real money trading, and some of these guys actually make money by getting loot, by the way. So there's a monetary aspect to this too, which is in China, for instance, real money trading, right? RMT.
What's the deal on this clip? Check this out.
There's a tree between us. This kind of works out.
Oh.
You can't argue with the wiggle. It's the closest thing to 100% confirmation.
Once again, another
and I
guy
got
did this
better at
and figured this
identifying the
out
cheaters.
before this guy
I
4
would
years
sometimes
earlier.
find them in back-to-back raids. One night, I ran into cheaters 5 raids in a row. I would love to share some stats with you. In my 125 raids, I never ran into a fly hacker. I had 0 raids with the stinky leg invincibility hack. I never ran into anyone speed hacking. And it was actually
Obvious stuff gets you banned. It's the same way in every game. 99.9% of cheaters do not rage cheat. And he says they are rage cheating. They aren't rage cheating. Rage cheating is where you spin in a circle and you spin bot and everything explodes. That's, you fly around, you have God mode on. That is rage cheating. This is not rage cheating. When he says rage cheating because the guy just turned and shot him right away, that's not rage cheating. That's not what rage cheating is. Rage cheating is when you toggle all the bells and whistles on that you know you shouldn't because you're angry, because you're raging, and you cheat. This is not rage cheating. Nothing he has said here is rage cheating in any way, shape, or form. Maybe he's new to the lingo or whatever. It's not rage cheating. Rage cheating is a good way to get banned, which is why no one does it. No one rage cheats. 99.9% of players are not super obvious flying around maps killing everyone because you will immediately get banned because it's very easy. And putting aside Dead by Daylight, where we had rage cheaters. We had fucking rage cheaters for a year. We had people flying around spamming hell states, insta-blinding you, flying around the map going like this. They should be banned immediately, but they weren't. That was how bad the cheating was in Dead by Daylight. That is how bad the cheating was in Dead by Daylight at one point. Yeah, that's insta-ban in any other competent game. That will be an insta-ban. And that's why people do not do it. 99.9% of players means 1 in 1,000 will be someone that rage cheats. Because the cheaters also do not get dopamine or serotonin if you know they're cheating when they kill you. If that gives them nothing, right? They want to have the premise that it is a fair fight. So when they kill you, they one-up you. They want you to think that you lost to them, right? That is the key. You have to lose to them. If you know that they're cheating, then it doesn't give them the same rush. They have to convince you because it convinces themselves that they're actually doing a good job and they're winning, right? Yeah, they have to play against legit players and they have to prove themselves that they're just that good and then somehow delusionally think that they are.
actually quite rare that I got aimbot or
It is, and every single time I've mentioned this before. When anyone mentions that they don't see a cheater because they don't see a guy flying around, that is not cheaters. I've talked about this for years. That is not the majority of cheaters in games because they'll get you banned. No one does that.
checked. There were obvious cheaters in about 60% of my raids. The best predictor that a cheater
Obvious because he could see him through walls. Not obvious to everyone else. And even then, like I report a shitload of people in Overwatch, guys, and I'm sure the majority of people that come to my stream and see that shit are probably like, this guy is full of shit. He has no idea what he's doing. Yeah. And because the one thing I've mentioned before, the one truth to any video game is you'll never be able to see through walls, assuming there isn't an ability that lets you do that. Your third eye at Gun will never pop open and you'll be able to see through walls. The best you can do is good positional audio, which has its own limitations, and a lot of games do not have a Z-axis. Z-axis is vertical height. You'll not be able to hear how far up or down a player is, which can be very detrimental. For instance, in Fortnite, when you can't hear how far below they are, because there's a lot of verticality in Fortnite, for instance.
would be in your raid.
Overwatch does not have vertical audio. Vertical audio actually used to be a big thing, like positional HRFT, head-related transfer function, HRTF. I think that's it. That's been around for 2 decades at this point. EAX did it. Oriole, which is the Turtle Beach thing, did it, and then EAX or Creative incorporated them, basically bought them, and added them to their own software suite for EAX, and then EAX got chopped off by Microsoft. And that was the end of good positional audio in video games. They've tried over the years, and it's all been lackluster compared to EAX5 way back in the day. 128 sounds blended at once. Yeah, some games have problems with 16. It doesn't make sense, but that's where we are. There's a lot of things in video games that have taken steps back. Sound is one of them. Physics are another one, where we kind of had these little peaks, and then it died out because there was no demand or people didn't know about it. In the case of EAX, not only did Microsoft have a stick up their ass for some reason, but at the same time, everything got councilized. That was at the middle to end of O's, so 2005 to 10, when basically everyone was convinced that councils were everything. Yeah, and obviously that wasn't true, but basically at the time there's a huge geek generation growing up on councils. They couldn't afford computers, which a lot of them I'm pretty sure transferred to computers at this point, especially if they can take their controller with them. Yeah.
The number of people in the lobby. If a lobby had more people or was near full, it is almost guaranteed that a cheater is in your raid. Sometimes players would just avoid me and I couldn't really test them. I only reached level 13, so it's not like I was able to outrun and catch up to anybody who really wanted to evade me. The time of day matters. At nighttime, I encountered more cheaters than early morning or midday.
I mentioned this before, putting aside Overwatch being one of the few things that bucks the trend. Hardcore players, the NEETs, the people that need serotonin and dopamine will be from about 2 to 8 in the morning. They're 3 or 4 to 8 in the morning. You have the hours between when the kids all wake up in the morning / Overwatch is the only game that bucks this trend, by the way. The kids wake up in the morning / college kids / adults / people that have a day off, that casual players will hop on. And I've mentioned this before, even before this video is made. I've mentioned this over a decade. I first figured this out in H1Z1. The majority of people will cheat late night because you have a bunch of people that are usually NEETs, not in employment, education, or training. So basically, they don't have a life, and they need that serotonin and dopamine, and they're willing to do pretty much anything to get it. And they show up about 10 to 8 in the morning because normal people have to sleep because they have a life to engage in, right? Most people have to sleep because they have to go to school, they have to go to work, they have to get educated, they have to go to training. Yeah, NEETs in general. It's 100% of this generation. In the case of Overwatch, it is the kids. There are big spikes in Overwatch as far as cheating goes on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and especially Saturday mornings. And why Saturday mornings? It is Saturday morning cartoons for kids. Yeah. And it's the only game I've ever played where this has been something that's bucked the trend. I've talked about this probably for the last 6 months or so. Is Friday to Saturday are the worst times for cheating in Overwatch. And that's because the kids log on. And a bunch of them log on because it's a popular game. Fortnite might even be the same way too, but I haven't played Fortnite for any length of time recently, besides when it came out. I played for no build for a tiny bit, but other than that, I don't really have months of data for that. But yeah, I mentioned this for years at this point. Always ahead of the curve, by the way, guys. Decades ahead of the curve, by the way.
It's reasonable to assume that I missed many closet ESPers. I was only able to investigate a handful of people in every single raid. Often I would die to a PMC, or a sniper scav would give me away, or something would happen that would prevent me from investigating more people in the raid. So while I would try to get around and check out as many people as I could, it's just impossible. Even though I literally confirmed 60% of my raids had a cheater in them, the actual number has to be higher. There's a lot more that I'd like to cover in this video. All of the various discoveries I made about how cheaters act, some of the sussy interactions that I couldn't 100% validate as a cheater, including someone who was streaming live, and much more, such as the difficulty of getting past the stream-proof feature of the ESP. Very difficult to actually record the footage. And what's the actual solution to the problem? And why is it so bad recently? And I'd love to do a follow-up answering all these questions.
People are starting to figure out how easy it is, and as such, they're actually trying to do it too.
I'm going to end this video with an interview. I hope you enjoy. This is Luke. You may know him as the co-founder of Linus Media Group and the current COO of Floatplane Media. And he's an avid Tarkov player. And I showed him most of these clips before the release of this video. There was this gasp of just...
By the way, the original guy's video was basically 24 minutes, and this guy's video is almost exactly the same amount of time. The French guy's video, I remember because it was a really weird timetable. It's like 22, 24 minutes, and it was almost exactly the same length of time as this guy. And he basically showed off the same things. He showed off people that would rage cheat. He showed off the wiggle. He showed off trying to follow people around and interact with them. It's basically almost identical, almost verbatim identical to the French guy. Tarkov players. I don't know. His account, once again, has been bought at this point, and they DMCA'd his video, so it's not here anymore. But, like, I'm bringing this up because when you do stuff like this, you really have to give accolades to someone that came before you and did it before you, and he's not, and that bugs me. It bugs me because someone is going to come in here and go, oh, this is the first time this has ever been done. His formatting's better. He has a much higher production value here. However, at the end of the day, this guy basically reiterated what Tarkov player... what this guy, from the thread I made years ago, what this guy did. He basically respun the wheel. I mentioned before, this is something I wanted to do, and I wanted to try streaming it, but there's obviously no way you can do it effectively. And I don't make YouTube content. This is something I wanted to do for years, but I haven't. So I'm obviously out of that. But yeah, this is something this guy did 4 years ago. And it seems an awful lot like this guy's making a name for himself by doing what this other guy did. And I want to point this out because, yeah, if you are just basically doing something and it piques your interest, you should, oh, this guy did something and I enjoyed it from years ago, right? And I wanted to make follow up on this because I think it's important for people to figure it out. Yeah, no credit in any way, shape, or form here. I'm very, very, very certain this guy watched this guy's video and read posts from this guy and then basically just did the same thing because it's almost verbatim. I tried to find the video over the years, but I can't find it. There must be footage somewhere. I don't know where it is, but yeah, I wanted it because it's very educational. I like showing it off to people.
Just, oh my God. This happened to me when I came across the first cheater. It happened to my buddy Travis when he was watching me play. He watched me live while I was recording. And it happened
I don't think I want to take a look at this because it looks like they aren't even, like, he only had a handful of games in there. While he said he tried for a lot of footage, it doesn't kind of feel that way. Yeah, and I don't think I want to hear... Why do I want to hear a reaction from Linus, one of Linus's lackeys?
And it happened to you.
I guess this guy is a big guy in tech tubing, so maybe that's part of it, but...
Too. I heard it from you.
We aren't going to cover this.
Boost makes it so that you know without a shadow of the doubt that this is a thing that happens all the time. So that means that there are...
This is a reaction from someone from Linus. It's not even Linus. This is just like someone from Linus who makes videos.
You lose those, and reaction to it is like, oh yeah, right.
God,
I want to, man.
As the week
systems, the health systems, the different management systems, like playing in this immersive simulator, and I don't want it to exactly mirror real life because that's a little bit
goat. I'm like, oh damn.
Stupid game, whatever. No, I really like this game, and I think a lot of what BSG has done has been like, I mean,
yeah, I don't understand this interview at the end here. I think you just tried to add more content into the video. At the end of the day, to kind of milk it a little bit, which, people have to make money, right?
Talking about review.
I don't have.
So this isn't interesting at all. Okay. Yeah. And as mentioned before, guys, so interesting video, and it basically almost verbatim reiterating what Tarkov player did years ago. I didn't make the video, by the way. I posted the video of this guy because it didn't get enough views. I found this guy's video and it had like 1,000 views on it on YouTube, and I posted and got it to blow up a little bit, and then it got DMCA'd. And as I mentioned before, I think the only reason this guy knows that the shit gets DMCA'd is probably because of this once again. Yeah. But this guy did this years ago, and once again, I feel as though it should be given credit where credit is due. Even though he's doing it and it's his own content, right? This is his own guy's content. I definitely feel as though this guy should be talked about as well, because this isn't new. And I tried to get this to blow up, and it did, by the way. Basically, EFT, the developers, Battlestate Games, started talking about cheating again, and then like 4 months later, it was all swept under the rug again, and everyone forgot about it. This is basically a wheel going full circle right now. The wheel's going full circle. And we're back at square one. But now at least people are more adults. So hopefully this is going to catch on a lot more. I mean, it did. It has 550,000 views already. So yeah, this is posted 3 days ago. Anyways, I wanted to cover this on stream. Let's see if he probably has a follow. He's going to milk the shit out of this. I'm quitting Tarkov on May 8th. If replay system doesn't come, I'm quitting. Okay, bye. Yeah, that's basically his only thing on his channel that's actually went anywhere is this video right here. And these probably got some these got views because they're near this guy here. See, there's a sharp contrast here in terms of viewership. That'll happen. But anyways, I thought it was interesting to cover, guys. May 8th is your birthday. Congratulations, by the way. That's actually, wait, what? That's ways off. Why are you telling me this? It's amazing, like 3 months. Anyways, I thought it was worth covering. I think I'm going to highlight my, which is something I don't normally do because YouTube is just YouTube videos. I think we're going to cover this again in case this guy's video gets deleted. I want to make sure this is here. I think I'm going to highlight my my reaction to him talking about basically what Tarkov player did. Let's see. Chicken Drumstick. 600,000 monthly active subscribers when they're shut down. The icing on the cake. I don't remember what I actually just said, Craig. To be perfectly honest, I don't actually know when I said May 8th. I don't think I said May 8th. It says if the replay system doesn't come, replay or rip. And I said bye. Yeah, no. And I think the majority of his videos are just didn't really go anywhere. Except for this one. So he's probably gonna milk the shit out of it. Anyways. What time is it? That took a while. Top row, third one. Yeah, this guy. Replay or rip. Oh, it says May 8th in the video. Oh, got me good. I did say May 8th. You got me. You got me, Craig. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a ways in the future. Good. Yeah, this interview, a whole interview part here. It would be nice if he actually had more footage here. By the way, I think it was really interesting, especially the rage cheating part. I think at the end of it, the production values here is better, but I think Tarkov player did this much better. He had more footage. And it showed more interesting things that happened, including people just following him around and then deciding just to try and fucking dick on him at the end of the day. Yeah. But it doesn't exist anymore because Battlestate Games took it down. So, yeah. Yeah, surprise. And it wasn't, by the way, he didn't actually tell you how to cheat. He didn't show you where to cheat. He didn't tell you the names of cheats he was using, and he covered up the names of players he was playing against. And it still got banned. So, once again, when game companies, like when they don't let you talk about cheating on Reddits and stuff like that, obviously they don't want to turn into witch hunt because that's, kind of a thing. But at the same time, they don't want you talking about cheats because if you don't talk about cheats, then people will not actually be aware of cheating. They'll sweep it under the rug because you cannot, at the end of the day, I like talking about this, at the end of the day, guys, you cannot sell the anti-cheat DLC. I would buy the shit out of the anti-cheat DLC. I've talked about this before, but video gamers expect game companies to have good anti-cheat. Anti-cheat costs money. It costs a shitload of money, but they can't sell it. So you can either just not do it and hope it doesn't go anywhere, right? The cheating doesn't go anywhere, and then maybe sweep it under the rug, or you spend a shitload of your resources, which are limited, on making anti-cheat. I would argue that some games have actually very much failed over the years because of cheating in their games. Battlefield being the biggest one. I think most recent example is when Summit was playing Star Wars, and there is a fuckload of people that cheat in Battlefront. And in dice games in general, and all the Battlefield games, there's a shitload of cheaters. And it's hands down the one thing that kills their games, because you either end up in vehicles, or you get brained from across the map and you just quit. I mentioned this before, people don't necessarily know people cheat in video games. They don't know they're cheating. They just know they're not having fun. If they can't compete, if they get insta-brained, if for some reason they just fall over and they can't even enjoy themselves, they can't fire back, they're going to quit. I think all the dice games, I think all the Battlefields, because the shitty anti-cheat in the game, which is horrible, basically since Battlefront 1, I think Battlefield 3. Since Battlefield 3, there have been day one cheats for every single one of the Battlefield games and Battlefront games. There's been day one cheats. DICE does not actually address this in any way, shape, or form. So they keep spitting out Battlefield games because they think their earlier one is shittier. Battlefield 1, for instance, I thought was pretty good. I thought it was pretty great. Battlefront, I thought was pretty great. Battlefront 2, I think is pretty great. What ruined them, hands down, is no anti-cheat. There's nothing. You get brained by you get like the Boba Fett guy that just fucking flies around and brains everyone and rockets everyone because they're cheating. Yeah. The last stream, I wanted to be a Battlefront streamer because it's actually a really cool game. I wanted to be a Battlefront 2 streamer. This is probably maybe 3 years ago. I want to be a Battlefront streamer, guys. And my last stream of Battlefront, when I knew the cheating was kind of reaching kind of the pinnacle of what I could tolerate. And by the way, the top guy that streamed Battlefront, he had like a small little community there. The top guy at the time that streamed Battlefront, and all he did was just fuck around, was 100% cheating. He'd sit in bushes and brain people, and his chat would not actually notice or care. Yeah, he would sit in bushes, and people would just like be walking up to kill him, and he would brain them out of the bush. Like he'd kill them without being able to see them, and his chat wouldn't care. It's just, yeah, that wasn't the tipping point. The tipping point was the desert map with the drop pods on it, and with the heroes, there was a Princess Leia sitting on top of the spawn point as rebels with her pistol the entire game, holding down the trigger, not moving on this plateau, eons away from the battle. And at the end of the game, she was second place for kills, and the first place guy was also cheating. Second place for fucking kills, playing Princess Leia, never died, just sitting there holding down the trigger the entire fucking time. That was all she did. She didn't do anything. She didn't move. Just held mouse 1 down from across the map and killed people like an artillery piece, playing a hero without being able to see anyone. That was the last time I played Battlefront right there. She was sitting there. I remember respawning and going up and looking at her because she was just sitting there, just firing. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's just trying to camp a hero. And I was looking at the scoreboard count up the entire fucking match. It was absurd. It was absolutely absurd. And as I mentioned before, I think DICE games are actually really good. I think the tech is fantastic. DICE as a company fucking sucks at anti-cheat. They ignore. They used to have Punkbuster. They don't have Punkbuster anymore. They don't have anything in their games. Yeah, they got rid of Punkbuster because they realized how little it was actually doing for their games. Because Punkbuster is more of a namesake. It's security theater as it goes, right? Where people think they're safe because they're installing something when Punkbuster is actually really fucking terrible. Yeah, they don't have any anti-cheat. The cheating in their games is horrible. And it kills every single Battlefield franchise where basically you reach this tipping point where the number of cheaters outweighs the number of casual players, and then the casual players will just sharply drop off because there's no one left to kill anymore except for the cheaters and the occasional guy that just doesn't give a shit. Yeah, I think it's responsible for killing off basically every Battlefield game because they're actually really good. They tend to be very, very good. They're fun to play, even if they get some negative feedback. But at the end of the day, you don't want to sit in a vehicle the entire time, and it's boring. I think Battlefront's fantastic. I think Battlefront 2 is fantastic. But sitting in a vehicle the entire game is boring. And even then, there's cheats for vehicles too. So if you fly, you have a fucker that can just lock onto you, has always exactly the right turn radius and everything. You'll just get a fucker that'll be on your asshole and he'll explode. It's even worse in the air. I've played that. I remember I got into the beta for Battlefront 1, not 2. Battlefront 1, I got into the beta for it. And during the beta phase, there was a closed beta for 2 days for streamers prior to the actual open beta starting. 2 days in which I played against other streamers and other people that had access to the closed beta, which is very, very tight, and because I won a key. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. I flew. I had a shitload of fun flying around in speeders and shit like that. Not speeders, the little, whatever the guys are that they use to tie up the legs on the AT-ATs. I forget, land speeders. I don't think that's land speeder. Land speeders are the bikes. Whatever the things are that fly around. Anyways, I was flying around those around, killing everything. Is really enjoyable. The second day, when the gates opened for the beta, it was terrible. About 4 or 5 hours into the beta, it became very apparent there's a lot of people cheating. The third day of the beta, they turned on the Punkbuster anti-cheat, and it was a steady stream. In the servers I was in, it was a steady stream of bans. You could see the people being banned in the chat log. It would continue, like they just constantly get banned. It was like a ban every minute or so. Just people just getting banned over and over and over again. And then the fourth day of the beta, those stopped. And occasionally you would see one. Occasionally you'd see the Punkbuster ban. And then the fifth day of the beta, there were no more bans anymore. And the reason for that isn't because they banned all the cheaters. It's because the cheaters got around Punkbuster in that short amount of time. And that was Battlefront 1. Cheaters, obviously, as an industry, the cheating industry, which we've talked about before, has grown astronomically since that was back in 2018, I think. When did Battlefront 1 come out? 2018? Not obviously Battlefront the original, Battlefront 1. Not the original, the new remake, 2015. Yeah, so not 2007, 2015. Yeah. There's obviously original Battlefront that's like 2004 or something. Yeah, they didn't. That was what? That's 8 years ago. And as it turns out, people have realized if you are a freelance programmer, you can make bank breaking a video game. It's very, very lucrative for a cowboy coder because breaking video games is actually really fucking easy if you know how to code because you can actually learn. There's forums that teach you how to make cheats, by the way, where people will actively help you learn how to cheat and make your own cheats. And if you're good at it, and if you're remotely competent, you can actually make a shitload of money. Where they say they made 70 million. Catfish declined to share exactly how much money his cheating operation generated, but said that 77 million figure that the police claimed is roughly correct when accounting for the Bitcoin surge in value the last few months. It's enough for him to retire today if he wanted to. I mean, a couple $1 million is more than enough for most people to retire. This was three guys that made a cheat for PUBG. And one was marketing, one was logistics in the back end, and the other guy actually made the cheat. Three people generated $77 million worth of revenue in like 2 years. In a roughly legitimate way. I don't think making cheats is banned in China, but rather you can get, it's like an IP infringement thing when they can come after you. I'm not sure on that one though, so don't quote me on that. It might actually be illegal to make cheats in China. Yeah. Freelance programming is a nightmare. It isn't if you have control of everything, and that's basically what a cowboy coder is when you basically only need one coder in the first place. So, yeah. PC will only get worse on cheating on PC will only get worse as time goes on. No, I mean that's the same thing as saying viruses are the cat and mouse game with cheating is anti-cheat, and cheating is the same thing as viruses and antivirus. Have viruses gotten worse in recent years? Kind of. They've gotten intrusive in and of themselves. Does everyone have a virus on their PC? No. Are there botnets still? Yeah. Are there compromised computers still? Yeah. But the industry as a whole got a lot better at tackling malware and spyware and viruses maybe in the middle of 2005, 2006, when Windows bought Security Essentials from, I forgot the name of the company, and developed their own in-house antivirus. And web browsers became more aware of exploits and closing those loopholes, started by Google with Chrome, became better at doing that. I remember scanning one of my friend's computers in college because he had got infected with shit, and I just remember it was so fucking slow. I was running malware bytes at the time, because one of the shitty things about being the tech guy, right? I was running malware bytes, and he clicked on everything. Click here. Remember the pop-ups, guys? Remember back in my day? Remember the pop-ups that say click here and they just keep going all over your screen and shit like that? He actually did that. That actually happened to him. Yeah. ChatGPT can write software. We covered that. Not completely. It can kind of do basic software. It can do a lot of the grunt work, but you still have to troubleshoot and be capable of expanding on it. It'd be great if it could. Just write a program. Kind of there. I used it the other day to make a piece of software for scheduling. And it's kind of there. It's pretty close. It could definitely do, more so than being your friend, it could definitely do programming. And that's pretty cool. But anyways, 77 million generated by 3 people. And that's insane, guys. But no, I wouldn't say that cheating is going to get worse. Like, it's just, there's going to be no end. I think the industry as a whole needs to come together and start tackling this. DICE, Blizzard, EA. I mean, EA and DICE are kind of the same thing, but not really. EA is parent company. EA, Epic, all the big companies need to come together and start coordinating with each other. Activision, Sledgehammer, and the COD companies, they all need to get together. And I'm not saying like coordinate everything together, but like for instance, viruses, there's a Black Hat conference where people go and they talk about exploits and different things, and they share information and try to figure out how to help each other out, basically, more or less. There's no Black Hat conference for fucking cheating. So, Yeah, like Blizzard, none of these companies talk to it. I assure you, none of these companies are talking to each other, by the way. Blizzard, Activision, EA, DICE, they don't give a shit. Only the big companies, so the small companies get fucked even harder. They don't give a shit about this, and it makes it very difficult for small companies to tackle cheating in general because they just don't have the resources to do so. But the big companies need to get together, and they need to start talking about this shit so that a solution can be developed. The most basic of which we have talked about on stream, and I've mentioned a couple different times over the years, is a cryptographic handshake between a peripheral, between your mouse, which I can't show you guys because it's corded, between your mouse and a video game. So it can form a handshake, an encrypted handshake with your video game using a key, obviously unique to a manufacturer, just like they can do with DVDs and Blu-ray. Eventually it'll get cracked or something like that, but they can come up with a new key. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. And obviously you could just make it so only newer mice can participate in this kind of locked ecosystem, and you can opt out. It's an opt-in, opt-out system, and most people will choose to use the matchmaking with protection on it over no protection at all. Even though I think Punkbuster, I remember in Battlefield, I think there were servers that didn't have Punkbuster on it. You could choose to play on non-Punkbuster servers, which were basically just cheat havens. Yeah, you could choose to play on non-Punkbuster servers. So, I mean, they could always have an option there. But like the most basic level is things like a cryptographic handshake between a peripheral. It's not a silver bullet, it's a start. And that's where people need to be right now. We are not. And it's really fucking sad. And developers just expect you to ignore this shit and expect the adolescent mindset of it doesn't matter, just sweep it under the rug to reign supreme. Just like they're doing in Battlestate games with EFT right now. They expect and they hope that this will just disappear because you can't sell the anti-cheat DLC. I'll keep saying that. You can't sell the anti-cheat DLC. It'd be nice if I could buy the anti-cheat DLC, but everyone expects it to be in the games, and if it's not, like, oh, why is this not here? Why do I have to pay an extra $10 to get protection? Why do I have to wear Trojans? I don't want to wear a Trojan. It should just be included. You know, one of those things. And yeah, at the end of the day, you can't buy the anti-cheat DLC, and as such, there's no option for it, so there's no market, and there's no supply, and there's no demand, because the demand is basically equivalent of how often videos like this pop up and alert everyone. And as I mentioned, with every basically Reddit, they basically prevent you from talking about cheating because of a witch hunt, right? Because of a witch hunt, or it will help people learn how to cheat. Like, they don't want that. But at the end of the day, I think the majority of it is just to pretend that it doesn't exist, and as such, it fucks people more. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, guys, let's move on here. We're going to make a highlight of this as well. Am I friends with ChatGPT? No. I haven't used ChatGPT for socializing. I don't think I ever would. I have to wait for my video to buffer here. Okay. I don't think we're going to look at another YouTube video because we spent so long here anyways. And we're going to do the Reddits. GPU is now luxury goods. Why are reviews under date embargoes? I didn't know there's a date embargo. I'm actually curious about that. It sounds like he's actually responding to something I talked about on stream, which is kind of funny, but you know, guys, QA, they're basically ramping up for X3D content, which is coming out on today, actually. The NDA drops today. So tonight we're going to be covering the X3D launch videos. And I don't think I'm actually going to buy a 7900 X3D on launch, and the reason for that is pretty sure it's going to be shit. I'm pretty sure the Windows Scheduler, we're going to hunt for reviews that actually tackle the Windows Scheduler, because that's going to be the Achilles heel of the X3D products, because the 7900 and 7950 X3D have 2 chips on board. It's basically 2 CPUs side by side, if you can imagine that, with multiple chips, cores on each one, and they have to communicate with each other. The X3D, which is the big amount of memory, is only on the slower one, and they expect it to do basically all the work between these 2 chips and function perfectly fine. Instead of being a monolithic die, which is basically just one big CPU, it's 2 chips next to each other. And I think it's going to fare miserably, but in order to see that, you have to look for benchmarks. I've dropped comments on Hardware Unbox, I've tweeted at them, I tweeted on WCCF, which is another tech website, so hopefully they get the memo that they should test a partially loaded version of Windows. And what that means is there's multiple computer... Look at all the programs I have running here, right? Look at all the shit that I have open right now. When benchmarkers test stuff, they test with basically nothing on the computer except for the bare minimum. And gamers' computers do not look like that. You know, as kind of an extreme example of what gamers' computers turn into, we have me, right? And I have 5 million programs that are open and running right now. Just all over the fucking place, just everywhere, right? And obviously, this is not the end result. Everyone's going to look like this. But there is a lot of shit that's running on my computer, and the Windows scheduler needs to be able to properly parse the information and decide what is important and what's not. And it's not very good at doing that, which is where you end up with thread contention and weird issues. So I think the 7900 and 7950 X3D are going to have problems when it comes to having multiple workloads going at the same time. And obviously none of these are really, like, if you look at this, right, like my CPU is not being utilized a lot, right? I have 12 cores here. This is actually 24 cores if you include the virtual cores. I have 12 cores here on my 5900X. But if you look at this, there's not a lot going on here, but there is stuff going on here. So if there's stuff that's actually going to fuck with stuff in the background, it could cause a weird hiccup, and that can cause problems, especially when Windows Thread Scheduler is chopping stuff up and throwing it all around. So, yeah. I hope benchmarkers test that shit, but I think a lot of them are not going to. And like I said, I hope it's in their videos, but it might not be. And I'm not a tech tuber. I mentioned before, I was actually considering being a tech reviewer at one point, and I decided against that because there's no money in it. That being said, I'm not making money on Twitch anyway, so I'm not making money here either. Luckily, I have 2 jobs. 3, actually. Luckily, I have jobs. So I can stream and pretend that this is a job. This is why your computer runs like shit? No, it's not. No, it's not. If there was CPU utilization, if a lot of them were using a significant amount of my GPU performance. And by the way, the majority of this is because I have a video playing in the background, which YouTube videos will cause a load. I don't have YouTube playing in the background when I'm playing games. I have 32 gigs of memory, and my standby list is cleared constantly. This isn't it. And I know for a fact my CPU is failing because it's not stable without vCore offset and turning off C states, so it doesn't drop down to the lowest CPU setting up box up. I know for a fact that my CPU is actually failing, unrelated to all my shit on my computer. My CPU is actually failing. Anyways, but we're gonna be looking at the 7000 series all taint remover. We're gonna look at the 7900 X3D reviews later tonight. Bye-bye. Let's see. Let's do an upload, and then I need to do a highlight. We'll do both these. Fifth. Okay, and then I'm going to make a highlight of... At this point, some people will jump through really easy. Sent. Huh? Yeah. Feels like they're getting itchy, and that means I played Tarkov. And I made the kids. Also, I think I need to wash my eyes out. Because it feels like they're getting itchy, and that means there's either shit in it or around my eyelids or something. We're gonna take a look at the tubes here tonight, guys. Apparently, the kids are all talking about Tarkov and cheating, because apparently this guy. Remember years ago, if you guys were here or if you weren't here, I played Tarkov, and I made a post about a guy, a French guy. I don't remember the name of his YouTube channel, unfortunately. And I posted his video to Reddit and got like 1,000 upvotes on it because it was a video educationally showcasing people cheating. This guy did the same thing, and it almost seems like exactly the same format. And apparently now he has a lot of publicity. So basically he's doing exactly the same thing as the French guy did, which we're going to take a look at tonight. Because I thought it was curious. Mainly because it popped up again, A and B, because I'm pretty sure this guy just stole the other guy's content. Yeah. Let's see.
Reaction or analysis?
Cheater. There it is. As you guys know, the video got DMCA'd by Battlestate. They took it down. This is not just any... There's a lot of cheat videos on YouTube about EFT. One was educational, which showed off the behavior that they have. And it was taken down by Battlestate. Like, this isn't something random. This was DMCA'd by Battlestate. And as you guys know, game companies can actually DMCA you for using their games because it's technically their property. So you can technically be DMCA'd by any video game company. Nintendo does this, by the way, if you misuse their content. Especially their songs. They don't like when you use their IP at all. And yeah, any video game company can do it. Most people don't know that. They think it's like free reign or something. It's not. You can 100% just get DMCA'd by a video game company for streaming their game. And there's nothing you can do about it. Except take it down. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Anyways, I made this post, 3 years ago. Made this post 3 years ago. Got a lot of upvotes. It's essentially what's going on here now. We're repeating the wheel. I have to wash my eyes. It's definitely... There's something in it. I'll be right back, guys. I'm pretty sure this guy is not actually the guy. This guy called Tarkov Player. I'm pretty sure this was not the guy. Couple things. I tried to contact this guy. He did not reply. It looks like his account has either been banned or compromised. I don't think this was actually the guy that made the video.
It was.
Yeah, I don't think this was actually the guy. He says he's the guy here, and it didn't occur. And it seems more so than being your friend. It could definitely... There's no market. Didn't know there's basically... So at scheduler, the content... buffer here. Okay. Photo this as well. Yeah. And basically Reddit, they basically prevent you from talking about cheating because of a witch hunt, right? Because of a witch hunt, or it will help people learn how to cheat. Like, they don't want that. But at the end of the day, I think the majority of it is just to pretend that it doesn't exist, and as such, it fucks people more. So, yeah. Yeah.
Is that where we ended things?
Anyways, guys, let's move on here. We're going to make a highlight of this as well. Am I friends with ChatGPT? No. I haven't used ChatGPT for socializing.
Okay.
I don't think I ever would. Transparency and advocacy. It's another word for like limelight. Yeah. Guy's name was Goat, right? Okay. Processing. Uh, um, I got some lovely mail. What do we got? Oh, well, I love when people backpedal and then act like they know what they're talking about in the first place. Only quick play in Overwatch 2 Platinum Mission. I see other people's team of GM top 500 tries. Sure, there's some good gray area. I think the unranked mode, especially if it's tricky, could restrict groups based on SR, similar rank, but then run into problems like what if a player has never played comp before? It wouldn't matter because it's always keeping track of their MMR, SR, whatever you want to call it, SR, MMR, ELO, rank. It's all the same shit, and people have different words and think there's a difference between it when there isn't. Oh yeah, I know unranked has hidden MMR as well. Okay, that's definitely different than what you just said there. Like, I can literally, me as a person, can read your statement here, and then go up to there and read that. Good job, dude. Not worth replying to, but I guess. Export to the tubes. Okay, that's uploading. Content. Upload. 5. That. Why are you private? Oh no. Fucking whore. Uh, 27th. I guess I didn't make that public? That sucks. 5 views. Sometimes it seems like you make stuff public and it's not. Okay. That out a day late is not beautiful. Yeah. Lights. All right. Let's do some sprucing. HAGS reaction. Percy. So, like, cheating is different than video game cheating. Huh. Game dev, podcast, GFT, 20,000, escape from 5. You dumb. People pick and choose when they talk about what they're talking about. Some people idle and some people don't talk at all. Why don't you talk in the last half hour, Dome? Where have you been? Discussion with Muslim. You ever go into a big streamer stream that has like 20,000 people in it and see that there's only like maybe 100 people talking? Like 0.1%? Everyone. 0.5? 0.05? 0.5. 0.5%. People just idle. There's a lot of people that idle. It depends on what people are doing. Depends on what you're talking about. Some people only come to watch podcasts. Some people only come to watch Dead by Daylight. Some people only come to watch Overwatch. Some people go to bed early and leave the stream on. Some people show up later. Some people have multiple streams open. Some people multi-stream. I think the cheating stuff is all basically like wives or boyfriends, girlfriends, etc. Significant other cheating. I don't think this is what we're looking for. I don't think there's actually a tag for just like the cheat poker. Cheat, get rich. Yeah. There isn't even a tag for people that cheat in video games. Good. Okay. Aiming. Escape from Tarkov. Reaction. Podcast. Different strokes for different folks. Twitch game. Action game dev podcast. EFTs. Escape from Tarkov. 3, 6. Seventh. Escape. And we'll send it to subscribers. Check. Okay. It's good this popped up again, guys. As I mentioned before, with the prior iteration did 3 years ago. Already 3 years ago, where I basically talked about this exact same thing. The French guy did this as well. And I think actually from a video game, like production value was higher from GOAT, but I think the French guy did it much better in terms of what he was showcasing. Right. Let's make sure these are public. Oh my god, some of these have 1 view, guys. That's amazing. I love having 1 view. Better than 0 views. All right. Let's take a look at the Reddits here, guys, since we did our uploads, and then we'll get into some Gamaz. Covered this yesterday. The patch notes. Unfortunately, apparently my video didn't go live, and it wasn't public. Just lost a comp match game because enemy mercy was contesting payload from a bush. Uh-huh. Rank is this? Wow. As everything set to low, I was so confused there why Mercy was just AFK in their one game. I haven't seen that particular spot, people trying to AFK, but I've seen that before. I can't see that bush. I didn't see the bush before. There must be there's definitely a video setting that Council's even set quality options based on movement from OP. I'd assume they're on Council. Not to just use your brains, look for whatnot. Caught a few people hiding in the games based on deductions. Not moving, time to play Ryan's clues. Pretty much. If the cart's not moving and no one's touching it, guys, that means there's someone there that you can't see. Good. Thought May Ice Wall was elevating Kessie's Deadeye was bad. Wait till you see this. How can you cheat in a video game without hacking? I mean, cheating. Pretty much it. Yeah. Cheating is basically getting around the game code. Exploit is technically using mechanics that are in a game to to get around actual mechanics. Like, for instance, if there is a peak spot that you probably shouldn't be able to use, technically kind of an exploit. Exploit is something that exists in the game that you can use. It's using the own game's code basically against it in a way that is not intended by the developers. It's basically a cheat, but it's not really because you're not modifying the game code. You're changing something inside the game. That can go a step further if you guys have ever seen Games Done Quick. They have what they call a taskbot run, which is basically just a super... Essentially, it's a program that runs a bunch of inputs on the game, and what they do is they actually find out if they run enough inputs, they can manipulate the game code in such a way where it's basically they're exploiting the game code, but they aren't changing the game code. They can change the game code. Basically, they gain access to the game code by manipulating events in the game in such a way where it breaks the game. So it eventually can get to, and it's an exploit that basically turns into a cheat, but it doesn't start out that way. That's probably the most extreme example. But you can't really cheat in a video game without actually downloading cheats. Stream sniping is definitely cheating. Can you get caught for it, though? Not really, but it's 100%. It's basically like you have a wall hack. It's a shitty version of a wall hack, but you have a wall hack. You have access to not only the information that the streamer has available to them, but also the thoughts of the streamer, which isn't even something you can get with a wall hack. Like, back when I played PlanetSide 2, I used to say, like, I'm going over here. Let's go up here and assess this, or I'm going to go around the backside over here. And what I found out was eventually, like, when I discussed, like, openly discussed what I wanted to do, I'd get people that would preemptively start countering what I was doing prior to me actually doing it. Yeah, and that's not something you'll ever get with cheats. They'll just see where you're going, but not what you're actually thinking or what you're going to do. Yeah. But stream sniping is 100% cheating. Just, is it catchable, though? No. Is it another form of cheating, though? Yeah, it's information you would not otherwise have available to you. It doesn't modify game code, though? No. But yeah, that's probably the most extreme example is when I had problems with people, even back, PlanetSide 2 was like 8 years ago, 9 years ago, a long time, 8 years ago, a long time ago. I had people that would listen to my stream, listen to what I was doing, and that's when I put a delay on stuff, and it really fucked people like that up, because they'd go and try to cut off a position, but because of my delay, I'd end up at that position early, and they basically like, get caught with their pants down, which is fucking hilarious. You get pieces like someone just like jerking off in a corner thinking that no one would ever see them, and you show up there like 20 seconds early, and then they just get shit on because they aren't actually good. But, yeah, it depends. Also, there's built-in cheats in a video game, too. So there's technically cheats in a video game without modifying the game code, which is developer cheats, right? I guess that would still count. Cheat codes. Who needs to do something against mouse and keyboard players on console? They're talking about Zim users or mouse keyboard interpreters, which is basically cheating, but it's not really. So this is another gray area here. We're talking about on console, you can't use a keyboard and mouse. You can use a device that will reinterpret your input into the console, so you can use a keyboard and mouse. It's not as good as native plugin, but it's much better than a controller. So yeah, you can have someone that does something like this. There are other ones besides Zim. Zim was like the original one. There are other ones besides Zims, by the way. But basically, it's a device you buy that will spoof a keyboard or spoof a gamepad as a keyboard and mouse. They're using a Zim. Oh, there's a guy talking right there. This has existed since 2001. It doesn't make it right. Cheating has existed since the beginning of gaming, basically, when someone got pissed off and or just decided to have fun and break a game. Widows and Cassadeers are the ones that a few people I report because it's so obvious when they're using mouse and keyboard. I'm high plat, low diamond. I can never tell who people are using mouse and keyboard. We talked about this with the EFT cheater guys. There's always be people that just will never agree with you. Like, they just won't think someone's cheating. This is also going to be, we talked about a cryptographic handshake, guys, between cryptographic handshake between a peripheral and a gamepad. They could do this with controllers too, because then a key would be put into the device. The manufacturer would have a salted key would be put into the device, which then the game unlocks and then uses to form a handshake between the two devices. And obviously, they'll eventually get compromised, but it's cat and mouse. It's the same shit that's happened in DMs with copyright protection. It was basically what I'm talking about with Blu-rays and HD DVDs, Blu-ray discs. The copyright protection in them eventually got broken, but it took them like 6 years to do it. So, and I think it wasn't the key actually got broke. What happened was one of the manufacturers, a disgruntled employee, released the key. Yeah, so it wasn't even like they got completely figured out. It was rather the disgruntled employee leaked the master key. So it's all based on. Yeah, it does. They have to enable it though. Like, I don't understand. At the end of the day, I do not understand why competitive games do not allow you to, because they can, do not allow you to use keyboard and mouse on a console. And this is one of the. At the end of the day, a keyboard and mouse is better than a gamepad for first-person shooters, RTSs, where you need to be precise. That's just the way it works. I think that there should be no aim assist in games, and you should be left to your own devices to use a keyboard and mouse as long as you have access to it. You should not have access to an aim assist. You should have the option to use a keyboard and mouse, and you can use a gamepad. It'll be terrible, but you can use a gamepad, or you can use a keyboard and mouse. And I don't know why they don't. So you used a Zim. Yeah. And you can. And there's native support for keyboard and mouse, but the game company has to enable it. Yeah. That's something worth talking about too. 21 hours ago, there's gonna be like no engagement here, unfortunately. Problems with posting late on Reddits, guys. What was it called? Gyro aiming? I think it's just gyro aiming. Nope. Yeah. I mean, I've done that before. I went through the whole phase. I don't know if you guys remember back when I was playing COD or Modern Warfare. I tried the controller for like 2 months, and I practiced a lot with gyro aim with the Steam controller. So Steam controller allowed you to basically use pretty good gyro aim, and then you could use aim assist, and I was trying to figure out how to toggle between the two modes. It takes a lot of getting used to, but it's much better than just trying to aim with the gamepad. What I found out, though, the problem that I found out was because there was no native support, and the gyroscopic aiming was very weird, and it was actually just easier killing people with the sticks and aim assist, manipulating the aim assist with the sticks. Yeah, they have. Well, I mean, I played on a console before I ever played on a computer with the SNES, so, or not SNES, NES. So people can get better. They can learn. It's not. I don't think this is. At the end of the day, they could just do gamepad versus gamepad with no aim assist too. So there is actually the option where you could just opt for no aim assist at all, if you really want to. Aim assist can be very powerful. It's the same thing as having an aimbot. It's at the end of the day, it's not your skill. You are using basically a game mechanic that keyboard and mouse players do not get. Good. That may or may not get downvoted into oblivion, mainly because it is anti-controller sentiment, even though I don't hate controller players at all. I don't think they should have aim assist, though. So at the end of the day, if you have a gamepad versus gamepad, even these two players, if you have one that's more skilled on the sticks than the other guy is skilled on the sticks, if you have one guy that's more skilled than the other guy, aim assist will shore this up. And even at the end of the day, even gamepad players lose to aim assist. Even though it'd be a shit show. It would be a fucking shit show. It would still, the better player would more than likely prevail. The 5900 and, excuse me, the 7950 and the 7900 X3D are being released tomorrow, guys. A review should be coming out later today being the 27th. They aren't out yet. Probably drops around 9 a.m. or something, which I'm not going to be up for. AMD chipset features special game optimizations for Ryzen 9 7000 series CPUs. Yep. And the start of the Windows scheduler woes, which are going to prevent workload from being distributed properly across the chiplets. Oh, I wanted to look at this video. We aren't going to do that tonight, obviously. The dual GPU from 2021. I think that's before AMD and NVIDIA canceled basically Sly and Crossfire, which is sad because it actually it offers an alternative. Imagine right now, guys, you could buy two 3080s instead of and get basically the same performance as a 4090. You pay half as much money for the same performance, actually think faster performance than the 4090. Most people would do that. I think the whole reason that NVIDIA killed off Sly and Crossfire, besides it obviously being something that is kind of a thorn in their side as far as support goes, is because it's actually ruins their product segmentation. You can't sell when when you have a $1,600 video card and someone can get the same option for $1,000, it makes it very difficult to sell that. More than that, actually, the performance would be higher. Dollars. It did. The really old stuff, that was way back in the day. There was problems with, it's called frame pacing. Basically, it would turn into an oscillation where it go like this. You get micro stuttering that goes like this up and down as one frame is rendered faster than another frame. That can be fixed. They never did. Or actually, excuse me, they did fix it after Tech Report did a whole bunch of shit. That was in late 2000s, which I think kind of correlates with that a little bit. No, 295 was like 2012 or something. 12 or 14 or something like that. They don't need to support Crossfire or Sly. That's not necessarily the way it works. How good the oscillations would be and the kind of experience you got would depend on which mode you're using too. There's a couple different modes for Crossfire and Sly, and they didn't operate the same way. They definitely did not try to make it better though. After they ironed out the majority of, it was like the sawtooth pattern with the oscillations, they got it down relatively well. They didn't do it. That was like 2012 or something like that. 2014, 2012 when they did that. And that was like their last big update. And then they killed off Sly Crossfire in, I think it was 2021. No games? We're going to get there. We had a long podcast, but that's because of the EFT cheater segment. We'll play that. Oh, actually, it's 3:30. The fuck is this shit? What? I've been streaming 2.5 hours? Well, I started late too, didn't I? Oh, fuck me. Oh. Benchmark leak. Yeah, we talked about that 1 day ago. I guess I could just copy paste. Actually, I think this is the same post I commented on, isn't it? Same post. Otherwise, we're gonna copy paste. Let's see. I'm trying to find the thread. What was this? 11BK. Same post. Get upvoted, guys. Just checking my post history. So glad you haven't. And there's people like Slane that literally just don't fucking. They don't want to watch me play games. Probably sitting there fapping or something and Overwatch ruins his experience. I don't know. Okay. We will definitely be covering tech releases. Only happen so often, guys. So we'll definitely be covering the reviews for the X3D chips tomorrow. Earlier tonight, guys, like I had a bunch of shit going on, which is why I got on late too. I'd fix some HVAC problems, and that took an hour. Getting better, greater than a 4K. This is our friend, True Talent, who reiterates this over and over and over again. It's also what survivors say, because they want you to lose. Lightborn really that hated? Some people do. No one saves the day. Upvotes? Camping and tunneling are viable strategies, but if that's the only way you can get a 4K, then you won't be better at killer. Yup. And there are survivors that can actually play against camping and tunneling. Not the end, it's the beginning. The survivors that think they can't win if you're doing that, it's the same killer who apparently out doing it. Also, I know how I win because survivors get angry when I do. Ah. Competitive gameplay bores you. I mean, you haven't been here for my single-player game. Like, occasionally I do single-player playthroughs. What was our last single-player? Kodal. Cult of the Lamb. Kodal was my last single-player game. And I don't think you were here for that. I guess you just want to watch non-competitive games? You'll think it'll be smaller. There's some pre-release benchmarks, and it kind of looks like that. And I think they might actually... Fuck off, Slane. It might actually be that way, but we'll see. A lot of it's going to depend on the Windows thread scheduler, as I mentioned earlier, because of the way that the chiplets are split up and how the RAM, the memory is applied to each of them, so... I mean, I streamed it for like a week, so... Competitive. It's definitely competitive, regardless of not being comp. Oh no, it's not ranked. It's definitely still ranked, too. It's not, obviously ranked where you get a rank, but you definitely play against people that are around your skill level. when I win because survivor's reaction tell me when I do. Dead by Daylight is very, very survivor biased, so I expect it to get voted into the ground. Though. Okay. We'll play some games here, guys. For a little bit, even though it's the end of the night. Might as well, because I can, so. Enough of that. I could just not, too. We'll play some games. We'll do a couple. Our gold. Okay. Change categories here and get into the Gamazes. I gotta take a piss first, though. Okay. You're back, guys. I don't know what I want for dinner, guys. Some fish. IDK, what for dinner, phase? $1080p monitor. No, I'm waiting for 540 hertz monitor, which is in May. I didn't want an IPS panel, so I didn't buy a 360. Felt like a direct hit. Apparently it wasn't.
messy, but we got it done.
I think the HAGS on, guys, or the HAGS off and MSI mode on, I think is just something I have to get used to. Feels way different than HAGS on and MSI mode off. I don't think it's worse. Okay. And no, I don't care about resolution. I care about refresh rate. I care about pixels and FPS. Response time and FPS. Good. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Good, 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 good. Think our AE guy is gonna be legit, guys? Let's find out. It's a very
is interesting. What does it use as a power source?
Planning to steal it for your own design?
competent username.
Nice try.
Carefully crafted username that he cares about.
Frankly, it's a little primitive for my tastes.
Definitely cares about his username.
No one's a natural. We all
Good.
have to put in the work.
We'll turn on eyeball scorcher mode here, guys.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attack commencing. Capture positioning underway. I see an enemy.
Widow. 3.
Enemy over here.
Oh, yeah, he left the game, guys. Oh no. Might be related to Musk's kid. Okay. Died next to the healer. Really wanted to kill me.
The skies await. Enemy in sight.
Our soldier, by the way, is also very accurate. We were getting healed earlier.
Enemy turret down. The payload has been secured. Aerial positioning underway.
Oh.
Scattered.
Running away. Could have ulted him there. No reason to do so because he would have just ate it.
Another approach.
And even if he didn't eat it, there'd be no one there to take advantage of it because everyone's dead.
All systems nominal.
Something's going on there.
Up and away.
Yeah. I'm gonna look away, guys. Someone to take care of the turret. When you take care of the turret, guys, it's 3 missiles. It's gonna eat like 3/4 of your health. And hopefully you have healers around. I thought a healer there. I don't know. I don't think he has a aimbot up. Waiting. Uh-huh.
Let's show him some air power. Aerial positioning underway.
He's like a widow? Here he come, maybe? Yeah. Alright. Soldier's really good at just running away. Good for him. Probably gonna get shot in the back here in a second. Forced an ult.
I've got you in my sights.
Good. Their Mercy is dead. Good.
All systems nominal.
Also, Soldier, I think it might be cheating, but I'm not sure. He locks on, and then it's kind of, if you guys remember earlier at the gate. God. Missed. Like I mentioned before, it's going to take some getting used to the HAGS setting change. It definitely feels more icy. Sometimes more accurate, but also sometimes feels like there's mouse acceleration on, which is really shitty. Could just be I need to turn down my sensitivity to deal with it. Saving for the Anna.
Returning to battle. En route.
Pretty sure the soldier's cheating. Not.
All systems knocked.
Sometimes they have a pixel lock too.
Repositioning.
Minimum lock distance. Huh? Wasn't the Mercy.
Making another approach. Increasing altitude. 10 seconds. Our time is up. Enemy over here.
Hey! Uh-huh. $36 and 9. Definitely can do better. First game of the night, though. Like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure the soldier's cheating. Not entirely sold on that. The only way you can get into a controller lobby with PC is you have to be in a crossplay lobby with a friend that's on PC, on controller, on console, and then you'll get aim assist. You never used to get aim assist in a PC lobby, but now you do get aim assist. They changed it in like December, I think it was. So, I guess it could be a controller player. It didn't look like controller movement though. But you did unlock there could be a minimum lock distance where if your mouse deviates too far away from it, it will unsnap. But I don't know, it happened earlier as well with the Kiriko when we were at the gate. What I was trying to point out there was my cycles were being eaten by the game. It was the gate when we retreated back to the gate as Farah, and he killed me. Or he locked onto the Kiriko, and then he just like sat there and just like shot next to the fruit stall after I died with nothing there before aiming again. Which is usually what happens when someone dies and the player is actually really bad. Their aimbot will unlock and they'll just sit there and shoot air for a bit because they aren't actually good. But not always, as it turns out.
That's what I'm going for.
Good, good, good.
Fruition comes from within, as does failure.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the pain.
Usually it's a widow. Okay. And that was a Mercy. Do. I need my E, guys. Good evening, Broad. Oh my god, it's right when I changed to Overwatch. It's like you're uninterested in my podcast dribble. No way.
Repositioning.
No way. My words are divine.
Increasing altitude.
Everyone hangs on every single one.
Thanks for the assist.
It's pretty interesting covering the EFT cheat. Whoa, that is a very accurate soldier. That looked kind of interesting. Is this a soldier from last game? Fucking Christ. Oh, it was like Felix or something in the last game.
Making another.
Huh. Okay. I mean, there's no point in actually being there, so. And the soldier. Crafting Reddit posts. I love crafting Reddit posts. It's called networking. Did the Mercy just fucking run away? She did. Why? They didn't have the point. Why'd she run away? What the fuck is that? And then she died anyways. Like, now we have to just wait for a group. Fuck was what this was.
On my way. Group up with me. My ultimate is charging.
Genji's now very accurate too. I think that was mainly a soldier, yeah. The soldier's definitely cheating. I wonder if we can use the beams to fuck with them. We'll have to wait and see. Bye! 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 Oh my god, fish in a barrel. Yeah? I mean, they definitely made it so it seemed like, you know, you have more of a quick play experience in comp. Jokes aside about the actual matchmaker being horrid. That fucking soldier is super fucking accurate. Find him too. I'm pretty sure, so, the way the old Overwatch worked was based basically on your wins and losses, right? Like a normal ELO system. I'm pretty sure it's weighted now, and it's based off of performance criteria. Not just your wins and losses, which can be seen by people ranking up while losing 20 matches and losing rank while winning 7 or 5 and 15 now. Those actually exist, so. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Twitch ad campaign is... Wait, are you getting... You shouldn't get any ads except for the pre-roll. Are you getting ads besides pre-roll? Shouldn't. 'Cause I don't play ads. Turn away the handful of people who watch my channel for $5 a month. I would. If I had thousands of people, I would not hesitate to push the button, but I don't. So. By the way, you guys should try the Peeps Pepsi. It's actually pretty good. Wait, so the soldier went to Hanzo? Why? There we go. That's what I didn't want to move, because the moment I did that, he's gonna show up. Pretty sure he's cheating. That's the soldier, by the way. No hackers tonight. I played this morning. Not this morning being yesterday. And I actually didn't have any problem with cheating. Well, one person was cheating. So I think they did something. God. Christ. Fuck off, Mercy. Pops up under the stream, probably an Amazon ad. Yeah, I haven't enabled anything, so it's whatever is there is what Twitch is putting on my stream. Yeah. You read the... It's not just me. I talked years ago when I was back in Overwatch 1 when I was playing GM and Master. Best I ever did in the game was after I turned off voice comms and I just stopped listening to people. Actually, voice comms are still on, I just couldn't hear anything. Like my voice volume was at 1%, otherwise people would rage quit. If you weren't in not rage quit, but they would self-destruct. If you were not in, if you're now in voice, they would flip the fuck out, despite the fact that it doesn't actually matter. It didn't matter to them. God, and the tank showed up. Yeah. But it actually doesn't matter. The ping system you should use, on the other hand. Ping system is actually incredibly important for pointing out people that are low on health, people that are flanking. I am very, very for ping system. I think you don't need to talk to anyone in the game at all on comms or chat. I don't think it's even a handful of things that are actually in the game that they need to fix, or they could make better. Like the ping system doesn't cover, they could definitely make better. We didn't see him look at people through walls, though. That's a dead giveaway. You see people staring at people through walls and pre-aiming. That's when you get the D-grade cheaters. Mm-hmm. You had some young people appreciating you. What the fuck? Feels like we're playing on EU. What the fuck's going on here? Wallpaper just updated. But yeah, a lot of people overestimate the value of what they say on voice comms, and it shows. We got the cheating soldier again. Get even more footage, guys. Yay! And it's kind of funny because there's another, there's a streamer, or I think it was a Reddit post that pointed out that the majority of games in which people weren't in voice chat, it didn't matter. It didn't affect their wins at all when there weren't people in voice chat. He's like a plat or something, diamond plat. Made some stats up, is on Reddit. It is. 95% of voice comms is either used for flaming, passive-aggressive quips about your gameplay, or people that are just, like, being anxious. They're saying shit making they're anxious. Like, it's stuff that doesn't matter. I'd say 4% of it is socializing, so people trying to hang out, and then 1% are actual voice comms, like callouts. That 1% is actual callouts. That's something I figured out back when I played Overwatch 1, which is why I turned off voice comms, because it didn't matter. I'd find that I just end up in arguments with people, and then your team is almost always will self-destruct. because there's a lot of people who cannot manage their ability to have an argument and perform. That's a relatively rare skill, as it turns out. There's our friend, the cheating Hanzo, again. I think he's cheating. Pretty sure he's cheating. Yeah, it doesn't matter. People like to think what they say matters in games as far as comms go. It doesn't. Pinging, on the other hand, is purely callouts, right? Like when you ping someone, that is purely a callout. It matters. Because you're like, hey, there's Tracer, right? And then if they're low on health, it'll show you how much health they have, too. Very important. Buddy. No. I think I can flick better with the current settings I have too. And I need to get used to it. I'm not. Not what I want to do. And there's like no big streamers, by the way, that actually use the ping system. Almost no one pings, which doesn't make sense considering how good ping is. Not very confident in my flicks, and that's because they are not consistent with my current system. And yes, my CPU is actually dying. No, it's not hyperbole. It's 100% dying. It has stability problems with stock settings. That's not who I wanted to point out. That is the cheating cheating soldier, excuse me. Oh my god, you just canceled? Good. This guy's 100% cheating. I think he has a minimum lock distance on it too, so if his mouth floats away, it unlocks. I'm very certain he's cheating though. That's the soldier from last match / Hanzo.
Watch out for this one.
Fucking Christ. Her beam, I believe? So when you're below 50, that's the problem with Echo, not particularly this guy. Her beam, if you guys can see, by the way, it responds to my small movements. Like when I AD strafe, for instance, you'll see his crosshair fly all over the place, and perfectly led while it's doing it. And I'm at half health. At fucking half health. I touched like 3 globbles and I'm at half health somehow. What? Why would you do that? Yeah, I know. I think more people need to. I mean, they shouldn't look down on you for pinging. Obviously, just don't ping fucking everything. Like, that's a flanky McCree, right? Our team was turned around. Good ping. But... Jesus Christ. Press again. At that point, time to use it, guys, and he's playing soldier again. Yep. And by the way, an aimbot will almost always be better on a hit scan. You can still miss, even if your aimbot is perfect on a projectile hero, you can still miss with a projectile hero because you still have to predict it. So even if it's perfectly led, that's only the aim. You still have to predict when you let loose the aim, right? Because people can AD strafe, which will fuck up your aim. You still have to predict when you're actually using your ability. Yeah. Fucking soldier. And aimbot grenade. Dead. It's a project. If you're talking about Echo, it's a projectile. All of her abilities except for the laser beam are a projectile. I think the laser beam counts as hit scan. Meaning there is a time at which there's flight time in the game. It's not instant. So during that flight time, I can change directions and it'll miss, which is once again predictive on the. It's predictive on the player. So if it's perfectly led, just like with Hanzo, if it's perfectly led, I'm going over here, I can go like this, right, and it'll miss. That's why it's important. Even if you have an aimbot, let's say they'll automatically predict you moving left to right. Even if you have an aimbot that'll automatically predict where you're going to be at exactly the second, it needs to take into account this guy here. So the operator here, even if they have an aimbot, has to understand that if I'm going like this, and the aimbot's going like fucking like this back and forth, it's not going to hit. And a normal player, if I'm going like this back and forth, a normal player, if they see that, they're just going to fire in the center, right? Because it'll hit me. If you time it properly, it'll hit me in the center. But when they're using an aimbot, it's going to lead side to side, and then it'll meet up with you when you're on the end. You're basically at the end of your strafe, and you're going back the opposite direction. And that was the same guy. That was a soldier from the match earlier.
Traveling to Mumbai.
Saying you never hit her. What did that have to do with her cheating? That just means being shitty. What? Also, by the way, it is very difficult, as mentioned before. It's not completely different, but the difference between HAGS off and MSI mode on, and compared to HAGS on and MSI mode off, which is the way I used to play, is completely different. It feels very, very different. It feels like my game is on ice skates right now, and that makes it very difficult to aim. It feels like there's mouse acceleration, or my game is laggy or something. I don't know how to describe it. But also, when I get used to it, my accuracy tends to go up compared to HAGS on, which is why we're using it right now. That's also why my aim looks so terrible, because I have problems with direct hits, and one of the things I'm trying to fix is my ability to hit direct hits in the air. Putting aside the fact that it's very difficult to hit direct hits in the first place. Sure. I started playing this way 3 days ago, so three game days ago.
Defend objective A. Together we will not fail.
Echo. Is that the same guy? No.
Let's show him some air power. In the air.
Dude. It's like we have one healer and it's a Zen. What the fuck's going on here? It's a trap, by the way.
All systems nominal. On the move.
40% is pretty good. We need to get up our direct hits, so. And that's still not better than what we were doing with HAGS on before, so. This is still not where we want to be. It doesn't feel that way.
Always more to learn. Establishing aerial position.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
We're having a problem here, guys.
Returning to battle.
Their healer has 3,000 healing. Our Zen's basically tied with theirs. And then we have a Lucio with half of their healer. One of the hardest things, by the way, to figure out is when a Genji is cheating. But one of the things I've noticed is when abilities align with your chests, they'll auto-align before an ability is used. Or basically exactly when the ability is used.
Enemy spotted. Taking to the air.
Bap thinks he's a soldier. It's a Lucio. We don't have a Bap. Christ.
Up and away.
We got C9. Good. Looks like our Genji's now killing everything. Good. Oh.
If you can't fly, fall.
Jesus Christ, Lucio. We just slid in there because of Lucio, by the way. Fuck was that? It's like Lucio's speed boost was inherited by the Junker Queen.
Positioning.
He's a knower. Good for him.
Aerial positioning underway.
What the fuck is this game? Junker Queen cheating? I mean, this is just fucking annoying on top of it. the little fronds actually have a hitbox. Some of them have a hitbox, not all of them have a hitbox.
Returning
Good.
to battle. We're outnumbered. Be advised.
She's gone. That's what really matters. This is an incredibly weird match, guys.
Always more to learn.
Yeah.
Taking off.
Yeah.
I look after my own.
Yeah. Surprise! She tried it again. Weird, huh? Meanwhile, 3 of our teammates just literally just ran off towards their team. Didn't hit anyone? That soldier is incredibly accurate. You guys aren't getting that. That is the Genji. Yeah. Good. And she just ran away. Not sure what's going on there, guys. Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure the Genji's cheating, which is also the soldier here at the end. I don't know fucking idea what our Lucia's doing, but that's something else. Good.
Time for the reckoning. It's only buckshot. My hand needs a knife in it.
Good. Okay. Unfortunately, guys, as I mentioned, we're in overtime here tonight, guys, because I had stuff going on in real life. That's just the way that it goes. And then we had to cover the EFT cheating bullshit that was going on earlier tonight as well, which was pretty interesting. Basically reiterating the wheel. If you guys missed that out, basically there's a guy that turned on cheats in EFT and then made a video of him cheating and showing everyone else that was cheating, basically, is what it turned into. Which isn't new. Another guy did that approximately 3.5 years ago or something. We talked entirely about it 3.5 years ago, where you can actually see basically the cheating culture that exists in the game, where people will basically act like friendly with you if you're cheating. And there's a cheating handshake, which is wiggling back and forth. If you guys didn't know that, that's not new, by the way. He didn't figure that out. That was something that another tuber did years ago, which was the telltale sign that you're cheating as you wiggle back and forth. He didn't figure that out. He acted like he did, but it wasn't. I'm pretty sure he was just copying the other guy's video, but it's something new, and the other guy basically got banned, or not banned. His video got DMCA'd by Battlestate, which is the guys that make EFT. Very interesting in and of itself. And then we talked about cheating in general in video games. Very prevalent nowadays. Very easy to do. Very easy to do, and not that you should go and do it, because I assume you guys are better than that, but it is incredibly easy to cheat nowadays. And video game developers don't take it seriously. So we talked a bit about that. That took quite a while and ate up the majority of our stream time here. Kind of an overtime here regardless. Can you get in trouble for reporting too many players? I think if it's erroneous, like if I don't think I'm actually reporting someone because they're cheating, possibly. Other than that, I don't think so. Like, I'm sure it's filtered based on number of reports people receive. and then maybe they look at the information on it, or maybe they just look at tickets with, they look at the reports with information on it, as opposed to people that just, like, they just have an additive system for the reports without basically information on it, and then maybe they'll look more closely at the ones with the information on it. I don't know. No one says anything. I try to include as much information as I can in the tiny little paragraph that they offer you. But other than that, there is no information on reporting people that there's too much cell conjuncture, that, oh my god, if you report too many people, it just gets ignored or something like that, or bans. It's just all hearsay. Over the years, hearsay that's developed. I jokingly said years ago, back when I streamed Overwatch 1, that if you report enough people, they get thrown in the trash, because they'll just filter it out as ignore that person, right? I very highly doubt that they look at every single report from every single individual that ever exists in the game. That'd be a huge waste of their resources. I'm sure they have a system for parsing them in whatever form that takes, and maybe even there's an accuracy level. I'd hope there's an accuracy level of how many reports are actually possible cheaters that got banned. You can't see shit like that. They very, very rarely give you the, hey, look, the person you reported got actioned against. It's not just for cheating. Apparently all the reports probably downsizing inside their company, where they reduce the number of people actually looking at footage, because it's kind of redundant. Once again, you can't sell the anti-cheat DLC. But I've gotten those before. Yeah, I've gotten banned before. I've gotten banned in World of Warcraft. You are right, Blood. It has happened to me, unrelated to Asmongold, but if enough people have a hard-on for you, they can actually get you temporarily banned, because the system flags you. Yeah, the system will flag you if you just have enough people, like a guild, for instance, or people that are unrelated to each other, all grouped together and fuck with someone. They can 100% cause them to get muted. It can be overturned, by the way, if someone looks at it, which you have to basically go through a manual report. So the temporary ban system is automated, but you can go through the actual report system, and it takes a little bit. I've done it. You have to go through the actual ticket system, basically talk to a customer service representative, not a GM, because they don't exist anymore. You go through the customer service representative, and eventually you'll get pushed up the ranks, just like if you're talking to AT&T. You get pushed up the ranks to someone that actually knows what the fuck they're doing, and they'll fix the issue, but it takes a bit, so yeah. It takes a while, and depending on what it is, it can take even longer. If you need a specialist, which, for instance, if you're dealing with things like that where you're getting harassed by someone, if you need to deal with a specialist, that takes even longer. If it's just something like, please undelete this loot or something, that takes less time, because they have a system for it. But if you need people to look at stuff, it can take upwards of a couple weeks, and I've had that happen too. And sometimes you have to escalate tickets too, and it takes even longer. Eventually it gets figured out, but it takes a while. Yeah, that's it's a way of dealing with massive amounts of people. I've gotten on Facebook, I've gotten temporarily silenced on Facebook for what were the ones? Hate crimes, and 3 different times I've gotten silenced for hate crime, for attempting to incite violence, and also what was the other one? Like targeted hate or something like that. It was some fucking stupid shit. And all 3 of them were for Star Wars reviews. Nothing to do with any of those topic matters, by the way. Yeah, some really insidious shit. But if enough people, especially if companies employ people to, let's say, or make an automated system to get rid of bad reviews, like, it was mainly on all Star Wars content, by the way. It was on talking about The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. It was basically the only time I've ever gotten silenced on Facebook was for those things. Yeah. And there's no way to overturn it. It's an automated system with no way to overturn your ban. You can appeal to a third-party website that basically takes weird case. I don't even understand it. It's like a voluntary website to take weird cases and look at them. Like, it's trying to act like some sort of tribute or some stupid shit like that. But I got falsely flagged 3 different times on Facebook and silenced on Facebook because apparently I wrote bad things about Mandalorian, and I was not racist, transphobic. There's no phobes, isms, or is in there. It was literally talking about how stupid it was. I talked to attempting to incite violence. I was talking about Mando as a experienced bounty hunter. Mando stood in the center of the street with Bubba, who's also an experienced bounty hunter, and got gunned down. Yeah, that's, oh my god, trigger words, right? It was like a page-long review of Mando in a comment section, and it got flagged for inciting violence, and it had nothing to do with inciting violence. That's about the only violent thing in there, and I guess it triggered some flag words or something. It was really bad. Yeah. Yeah, it takes a while, though, and I can imagine, especially if it was at launch, it'd take a while. But I would, if you think someone's legitimately cheating in this game, report them and put in as much information as possible, and that's it. That is where I extend. I do not worry about whether or not the GMs think I'm that awful guy that reports too many people. I'm not going to not report people because I don't think they're sus. I report anyone that I think might be possibly cheating, and that's just the way it is. It's not my job to verify exactly whether or not that person's cheating and go over all, some streamers will look over all the footage, go over all the replays. At the end of the day, I'm still not responsible for banning people. Like, I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner. I make a report to a guy that bans people, and that's it. That's all it is. I present some evidence, and a bunch of other people present evidence, and then the guy that is the judge, figures it out, right? Judge and jury. But I'm not that, so. Yeah. I mean, I would say right now it is too much. I have been silenced multiple times in World of Warcraft, and it's not because if enough people dislike you, they can definitely Karen the fuck out of you. And I think there should be tools. If you harass someone, that is different, by the way. I'm not saying harassment. But if people just disagree with what you're saying, that should not be censorshipable. That's not something where you should get censored, and in no way, shape, or form should you ever have your right to be taken away. If you're harassing people, i.e. you keep coming back after them, and they've put you on ignore, yeah, you probably should be censored and or banned. That's just the way it works, because you're harassing someone. That's different. However, if people just don't like what you're saying, there's a lot of crazy people in the world. That's just the way the world works. For better or worse, there are going to be people that disagree with you, and that's just the way the thing is. But as it turns out now, people have gotten to the point where they just want to stop people from talking that they don't like that talk, and that's not where we want to be either. Just because you don't like what someone says doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to talk. This gets into the kind of the full-blown picture of what happens if the misinformation that they're spreading actually causes hurt, right? And that's curious in and of itself what you do in that case, because then you have to weigh and balance freedom of speech with someone possibly potentially even knowing that they're saying something that is wrong, but they do it anyways because it's how they make money. Misinformation is money nowadays, because sometimes you pander to certain demographics, and those demographics like what you say. So you're not going to stop saying what you like or what they like, because that gets you views, clicks, upvotes, and money, right? So you are actively, monetarily encouraged to say the wrong things because someone somewhere likes it. So it doesn't matter whether or not you think it's true or not. It's just whether or not people want to watch it. And that's also a shit place to be. Here we are, guys. A lot of different takes. Like when the pandemic was happening, there's some people on my channel, for instance, that would think like vaccines are actually give you AIDS or some stupid shit like that. And some people still refuse to get vaccinated, and that's their choice. But I got vaccinated. I think it's definitely worth getting as opposed to getting COVID, but some people think it'll give you nanobot viruses or something. I don't know. Yeah. There's too much. I think they've went from not enough moderation, the opposite direction, to way too much moderation now, which is censorship. And I think there should be enough tools where you should be able to ignore someone successfully and never see them ever again. But at the end of the day, like, you just have to deal with the fact that you're going to be dealing with other people, and whether or not you like them or not doesn't really matter. You can try and remove yourself from the situation by muting, ignoring them, but it shouldn't be just because you don't like someone in your comp lobby doesn't mean they shouldn't be allowed to talk to anyone. That means you should manage your own personal responsibility and put them on ignore. But that's where we are. So the vaccine can make you test positively for AIDS. I've never heard that one, and maybe, I don't know. So I guess that's a new one on me. What are you guys? I'm out here for this evening, guys. Tomorrow will be more of the OW2s. So you guys have that to look forward to, not to look forward to. We'll definitely be playing more games than we did tonight. Tonight was a weird night because of the topic we're covering and because I got on late. Stuff like that will happen. But yeah. I'm out here for this evening, guys. If you're new to the stream and you enjoyed the bullshit, you enjoyed the fun, you enjoyed the long podcast section, make sure you hit the follow button in the top right-hand corner. You stream every day from evening to late night, GMT -6, so 8 to 9 p.m. Central. Oh my God, Idawin, are you here to pretend that you are in control of me leaving? Is that what you're saying, Idawin? Are you just here and you're saying these things? You're saying these things just to imply control over my stream. Look at that. That's passive-aggressive behavior right there. I don't think Idawin should be able to talk anymore. I don't think you should be able to talk, guys. But, yeah. Alrighty, guys. I'm out here for this evening, guys. It was fun. If you're streaming and enjoyed things, make sure to follow button in the top right-hand corner. You stream every day from 8 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time to 1 to 2 a.m., give or take. Depends what's going on in my life, what's happening, etc., guys. The usual. We had some I enjoyed the podcast. If you guys are curious about that, it's highlighted. But we covered basically the EFT cheating stuff that's going on right now, which was actually pretty curious to talk about, even though it was kind of the same thing that was happening years ago. But, yeah, that's the way it is, guys. But, alrighty, guys, I am out here for this evening, guys. Tomorrow will be more of the OW2s. So, thanks for watching my stream as always, guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderfully fantastic Sunday night and Monday morning. Have a good day, guys.